What can I do for you, Vector?
Agent, excuse us a moment. We hear the song. The nest awakens. Light fills the hive, and we are one. Apologies. It's the hour of revitalization, and, as Dawn Herald, we still participate, in spirit, if not in person.
You talk about being Dawn Herald, but I don't know what that is.
Traditionally, the Dawn Herald is a warrior and emissary for the nest, one who confronts the unknown. As Herald, we are more than a typical joiner, and we retain a sense of individuality. It's also why we're useful to you.
You aren't entirely part of the hive mind, but you don't want to leave it, do you?
The joining changed us, and we are content. In any case, we still honor the Killik's gift, but surely everyone carries over rituals and habits from their lives before intelligence.
Your old habits are still unusual, as these things go.
Fair enough. You can't blame us for trying, Agent.
Codename Leggett calling Base Command. Come in, Base Command.
Base Command here. Patching secondary stream.
Codename Chance here. Ready for mission briefing.
You two met on Nar Shaddaa, so I'll skip the introductions. Welcome to Taris. 1,000 years of civilization reduced to toxic muck.
I'm glad we're getting the chance to work together.
Thank you, sir. You impressed us at the droid factory.
A long time ago, Taris was a Republic world. A Sith Lord bombed it. Now we're trying to rebuild, and the Empire's unhappy.
Your people said shock troops. Devastator units.
It's a mess. The last thing we need is a rogue element, but that's what we've got. Along with Sith and Republic troops, there's a corrupt Jedi down there. You're going to stop her.
I thought Jedi was supposed to be incorruptible.
They're not perfect, but they're supposed to know better. Kai Saisons, Jedi Knight and hero of Tazla. Rising star in the Jedi Order, but she's rotten to the core. Half her missions end with someone dying. Technology and artifacts disappear from under her protection.
Her last report said she'd come to Taris because the Force called her here.
I believe Kai Saisons is building a power base. I need you to find out how and why, and bring me hard evidence.
You sound like you're taking this personally.
I'm disappointed is all, but you're right. No good fretting. Chance will be your contact. He'll take it from here.
Yes, sir. Surveilling Kai Saisons has been difficult, but we believe she recently mounted a raid on an Empire-controlled laboratory. We'll begin our investigation there. You need to obtain access to the laboratory from Imperial Command.
Suppose I refuse. Can Agent Chance force me to obey?
Chance may be young, but he has all the experience and authority he needs. Now, get to work, both of you. Base Command out.
Sir, I'll monitor your holocalls to track the investigation. I'll be in touch soon.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I apologize for taking the extended break. If it makes you feel any better, I spent the entire time with my eyes closed. Like right after I finished eating. Today was a wake-up with a headache day, and it turned into a migraine. It's still there, it's just a little bit more manageable now. I have taken an actual pain pill, along with a couple other pain pills, to hopefully manage the damn thing. But yeah, no coat today. Can't deal with it.
Getting good.
Good fight, by the way, Orcano.
You and me, we're getting good.
So yeah, forgive me if I'm not as lively as usual. That does make me feel better, Zactap, thank you. Right. this is an anti-nausea pill. I don't know about you all. The headaches are bad enough, but when I get to migraines to this, they always make me nauseous too. It just makes it worse.
Attention on deck!
I'm tracking a Jedi, and I need immediate access to the research laboratory in this sector.
You're talking about the Godera laboratory?
Apologies, sir. I didn't realize you were coming. Lieutenant Nida, liaison officer.
Cypher 9, you run a tight ship.
Thank you, sir. And you are...
I'm your mother with a shaved head and an assault rifle. Breeze off.
Not everyone here would appreciate that tone.
Contacting the laboratory for clearance, sir.
Your associate should be at the lab already. He took a security team about a week ago. You'll find it in good hands.
Yes. I'm sure everything will be fine.
I can't pick up anything from the laboratory comm, but there's something on a secondary channel.
To base, Dr. Loken is safe, but the rat ghouls are everywhere. Orange level infestation. We'll attempt to...
Get it back!
I can't. Our team must have been overrun by the rat ghouls. We'll have to burn the whole lab.
No one does anything until I understand the situation.
The Rak ghouls are mutants, victims of a Terrician plague that alters human physiology.
Standing orders are to cluster bomb nest sites to contain the infestation.
You want to reach the lab to track your Jedi, you'll be facing a swarm. I can't offer anything but aerial bombardment.
Put your bombers on hold. I can cleanse the area.
You take me to the best places. We go looking for a Jedi, you show me a rat ghoul nest.
I hate rat ghouls.
Make me look good.
I mean, I think rat ghouls are even worse than Killix in some ways. You know, it's funny. STO is not exactly a non-buggy game, but I think Tor is actually buggier. I was thinking about that while I was resting my eyes. Because I think the distinction... STO is a cheaper looking game, right? Like, it doesn't have the polish, the animations are cruder, the voice acting isn't to the level of quality, blah, 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 right? Like, it's just a cheaper looking and sounding game, but it's not actually that buggy. Tor feels and looks substantially more polished, but is much buggier. And yeah, exactly, there's less for it to go wrong. You're absolutely right. I think you're right, Magister. Tor didn't used to be this buggy. If I can use a parallel here, you know what the most polished MMO out there is? Me neither, because it used to be WoW, but it isn't anymore. Pax and I have been going through the story content of Shadowlands. Hence the game I mentioned in the... I should share that. But, that is just... I've been playing WoW since the alpha, and I have never, and I mean this with total sincerity, no hyperbole, I have literally never seen WoW be as unpolished as it is in the modern content of Shadowlands. How unpolished? Sometimes quest objectives do or don't share, depending on the random mood of the game. Sometimes things, a quest NPC will literally run off to begin an event, even if we haven't actually picked up their quest yet. And so we have to rewind to another place where they used to be at in order to get the quest that they ran off with. In some cases, the voice acting will not play at all. It'll only play for one of us, or the other, or neither, and occasionally it'll actually play for both of us. But it's not even universal, because sometimes you'll only hear, like, 3 lines out of 10. Sometimes you'll hear 5 lines out of 10. It is the definition of not tested. It's pathetic. Speaking of, anybody remember how extremely buggy and unpolished and terrible Tor was at its latest expansion earlier this year. This is pretty bad. So, what if the Darkspawn gained Borg technology? Okay, so my first thought chord is nuclear fire. I don't even know where to begin with that chord, I'm sorry. I don't think I can be creative with a migraine. Okay, hang on, let me think about this. So, lemons. They're all weak to lemon juice. I'm sorry, that's a reference. You won't get that. That's a force Rakghoul. That's always good. Yeah, just use antimatter. Just, you know, just detonate the galaxy, the whole thing. Etch a sketch. If I ever invent a super weapon, I'm gonna call it the Etch a Sketch. And people will be like, huh? What's the Etch a Sketch? I don't know. Ah!
I've seen spice dens cleaner than this.
Hello, Doctor.
You can lower your weapon. There are no Rakghouls in here. The late Private Rallan dispatched the last of them before succumbing.
Cipher 9, Imperial Intelligence. You must be Dr. Lokin.
Yes. Official designation, Fixer 15. How good to meet you. Watcher 4 assigned me here for a clean-up operation. I assume you're here for a similar reason?
I can't give out details. Keeper's orders.
Of course. But I'm sure we can work together. Follow me, and mind the bodies. This laboratory belonged to a man named Nason Gadera. Utterly brilliant. Invented everything from durable plastifoam to the death-marked laser. But his relationship with the Republic is rocky. By the time we captured this sector, he was already gone. I came to catalogue the contents of his lab, and I wasn't the first.
Yeah, I was about to say, yes, that Godera. The one we dealt with on the, I think it was the Jedi Knight, specifically.
Go back to Nason Godera. What happened to him?
Back in Republic space. But the laboratory hasn't been empty. Watch.
Is that the last of the defenses? Stay on your guard and destroy the monitors. Then find the device.
We stole research, equipment, and something Nason Gadera called an ultra-wave transmitter. I haven't a clue what it does. I suggest we pool resources. A fixer and a cipher investigating a thieving Jedi for Imperial intelligence.
What was the research they took? And the ultrawave transmitter?
It transmits something called an ultrawave. Without the laboratory files, I can't do more. This wasn't the only recent raid on a science facility. This planet attracts brilliance, and someone has been purloining databanks across the ruins. Based on the pattern, I suspect the Jedi's next target is an abandoned bioresearch facility near a red-level Rakghoul colony. We can find it together.
There must be a reason she's going after these places.
That's what we need to discover. You should be able to locate the facility by triangulating its signal from the swamps. I'll correlate the data. You intercept the Jedi.
So you're hanging out here, with the corpses and the Rakghouls.
It is my burden. Here's the triangulation device. Give my regards to the toxic swamp.
Yeah, by the way, I've already said this several times.
Rise and shine.
The agent storyline connects with the other storylines more than any of the others. Like, there's been little tidbits and references here and there, but nothing to the scale of the agent. High hazardous. Alright, that one's up there. Yeah, exactly, Blatable. That is what we are. We are the janitors.
So this is what happens to a planet when the Empire's through. Something to think about.
Yep. In fairness, that was Malik and his stupidity.
All
But,
authorized
you know.
destinations.
have a lot of outstanding questions, but I don't think any of the people who asked them are on right now. Oh, hang on. There's one from Blade Taval. What are my thoughts on Thrawn of the Rebels series? So it's not how I picture Thrawn, I'll freely admit it, but I liked him. He was well acted and well portrayed, and they did a lot of really good stuff with him. Even though he ultimately defeated himself.
Rise and shine.
Still fit. It's because it's nighttime on the Empire and daytime on the Republic. Mike, come on up. I'm glad you're liking it, Zeiss. New chairs are good. Let's see, Blue Hero wasn't here. Already answered that question. Already answered that question. Damashi asked a weird one, but Damashi isn't here. Baron isn't here. Star Wars asked a fun one. I haven't decided if we're going for the quadruple backstab yet, but there's a common thing I tend to do when it comes to the agent story arc. I haven't decided if I'll do it again yet. It'll be most obvious here on Terrace.
Rise and shine.
You're in the wrong spot. I don't know if I agree with that sentence. Favorite quest so far on the Shadowlands? Oh, that's a tough one. There's a lot of good ones, believe it or not.
This is Chance to Leggett. Come in, Leggett. I know you're busy, sir, so I'll keep it short. Any progress finding Kai Saison?
I met a Dr. Loken at Nason Gadera's lab. He thinks Saison is raiding facilities across Terrace. I'm en route to one now.
That's great. That name rings a bell, though. Hold on. Dr. Eckard Logan, Imperial Intelligence. 12 confirmed kills over 30 years. Not a lot in the file. Be careful with that man, okay? And contact me when you find anything.
Authority looks good on you.
That wasn't really what I was going for, but thank you. And for the record, I don't agree with how Master Hoth is using the command codes. I'd like to make up for it.
Well, we'll see how that goes then, won't we? Yeah, so I'm just going to give something away here. The fact that they have only 12 confirmed kills with Loken says a lot about how good he is. Someone asked me the other day who I thought the most evil companion was, and I said without hesitation, Dr. Loken. So... So there's a quest in the patch content, Mr. Red. I think it was Mr. Red who asked that. And it's very minor spoilers, but it's after the four covenants get together and start fighting the Maw as a unified front. There's actually some really cool stuff there in general. They do some good stuff with it. But the best quest was one where it's literally the initial assault to gain a vanguard in the Maw, with a necropolis at your back, which is exactly as cool as it sounds. That necropolis happens to have an artillery cannon attached to it, which you have control over during that assault, which is exactly as cool as it sounds. It's pretty awesome. It kind of makes Shadowlands even more frustrating, because it still has its awesome moments. It's just, like, I mean, honestly... Like I said, the biggest problem isn't that it's bad, it's that it's unpolished. It's a buggy, unfinished mess. Now, that is bad in its own right, but you get my point, right? Like, a few patches and a few updates would probably actually make Shadowlands substantially better.
All right, make me look good.
Cypher, I think we have our lead. I'm receiving faint signals from an old Teresian transport station. Were I a betting man, I'd say our bio-research lab, our Jedi's next target, is in there.
Do you have any more information on the area?
Nothing pertinent. I understand the lab itself was built by one Dr. Durant, departed. I don't know whether the Jedi and her people have found the lab yet, so do be cautious. I look forward to hearing what you find.
Oh god, I'm gonna have to do Hoth with a headache. I just realized that. That's gonna be terrible. Hi, Sean. Alright, which of course is the furthest one. Oh, that's gonna suck.
You and me, we're getting good.
No, I'll just do this. Like, I can still see vague. Like, my vision's pretty bad without my glasses, but I can still see enough to, you know, kind of tell where I'm going.
Used to sneak up.
Like, I don't, because I can see the red, right? So that's how I know there's an enemy. There's an enemy up there somewhere over there. So I can kind of tell. And of course, I've been through this particular sewer several times, so I have an idea where I'm going. I think those are enemies up ahead. God, I have really bad eyesight. I've debated a few times getting the surgery to fix it. I don't know. The biggest thing that prevents me from doing that is that my grandmother underwent that surgery, and she told me exactly what it was like. They don't put you under. They don't, you know, put you under general anesthesia. You just lay there awake and stay very still and keep your eye open while they perform surgery on your eye. The only thing I don't like about V Rising, it's kind of dry on content. V Rising was actually intended to be a PvP-centric game until it got popular with the crowd of people who weren't into PvP. So, if you're not into PvP, there's not that much to do. Oh, don't mistake me, it's actually a really well-constructed game. It's just very dry of content. V is in Victor. So, you play a vampire. You wake up. It's like, argh. You can drink blood. Which type of blood you drink changes your class. So, and you drain out of blood bit by bit. If you're out during the daytime, sucks to be you. You'll actually take exponentially increasing more damage the longer you stand in the sunlight. There are ways to avoid that, but the point is, generally speaking, you're going to be outpowered by everything around you until you gain a lot larger of a power base. So then you want to go and you want to build up your castle. That's the build aspect of things. And it's not just cosmetic. Everything you build is something you actually use to improve your power base. And to get you more blood, and blah, 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 blah. The problem is, the only content in the game, other than everything I just described, which is getting blood, killing people, and building up your base, is making your way through the bosses. Now, the boss encounters are pretty legit, but that is it. You go out, you fight a boss, that leads to a next boss, that leads to the next boss, and there's literally just a chain of bosses you go through, and once you're done, you're done. And yeah, later on it does get a little on the grindy side. So, still a good game. I'd still recommend it if you haven't poked at it. It's done with a top-down, you know, almost Diablo style, except you can rotate the camera, so it's a little more like Neverwinter Nights. Listen, Moonlight has been purified. Or something. Man, I don't know. Maybe it's the severity of it, you know, the intensity. Ugh, excuse me. My goodness.
Big one up ahead. Nice horns.
You are not to be here. You are not welcome.
You must be Kai Saisons' henchman.
You speak her name. You are not worthy. Die!
Jesus, okay.
Rise and shine.
Yeah, I was just gonna be like, alright, let's have a chat, you know, let's talk about this.
striking at the servants of Kai Saison. You have sealed your fate. I may die, but she will never be defeated.
Moderate your tone. You're in no position to insult anyone.
Kai Saison saved our homeland. My life belongs to her. You will become dust, still ignorant of what happened.
I don't have the patience for games. You are going to talk.
Look, it's been a bad day.
I think he's convinced. Poor, brave guy.
Enough! Please, enough. We came to find the secrets of the ultrawave transmitter, a machine crafted by Nassan Godera. Its signals are the song of the Rakghouls. It controls their colonies. When it is ready, they will be her army.
What's a Jedi going to do with a Rakghoul army?
She will rule the stars, but not yet. The ultrawave transmitter was never completed. That is our task. The three chosen of Kai Saison, each with our own mission. I was to obtain Rakghoul biological research from this, the laboratory of Dr. Durant. The chosen Bokeh seeks data on colony movements. The chosen Fentar seeks a Republic scientist, Dr. Iana Sel, to complete the device. They will triumph soon.
What about the Jedi? Tell us where to find her.
I have told you of my brothers so they may meet you in battle, but I will tell you nothing more.
Okay.
Look for your brothers on the other side.
Let's get out of here. Then maybe call for reinforcements.
This is Leggett to Chance. We have a situation with Kai Saison.
Chance here, sir. I'm listening. Building a Rakghoul army with the ultrawave transmitter? Why? She has 2 more sets of followers then. One going after this Republic scientist, one after the Rakghoul colony data. We'll have to split up to stop them both.
Now I get to see how much you can handle.
Are you? Never mind. Later. I'll try to find our scientist before the Nikto do. If this Dr. Sel works for the colonists, I should have a shot. You need to figure out where they'd go for Rakghoul colony scans.
I'll talk to Dr. Loken. He knows the science, and he knows Taris. He could be our lead.
I was afraid you'd say that. All right, but don't trust him. Chance out.
Why would I okay. There is, Trithon. It's ironic because it's probably one of the only reasons we won't finish Agent today. That and the migraine. We'll finish tomorrow. Almost assuredly. And then we'll be bored with Ilum for a bit. And then someplace called Makeb, I think it is. Which we'll be bored with twice. I've actually done a bit of Ilum, but I couldn't tell you any of it. Like, I just don't have any memories of it. Nothing's concrete anyways. It was when we were doing the post-game round of stuff. Back when we did Sector X or whatever. There's the one in Corellia and there's the one in Belsavis. And getting HK50, of course. No! I don't know if I can bow right now. Alright. Hang on.
Cypher, back with hardly a scratch. And here I am, practically electrocuting myself on Nason Gadera's equipment. How embarrassing.
Thank you, Zasto. I do appreciate that support very much. Thank you.
Kai Saison is trying to use the ultrawave transmitter to control Rakghouls. But she needs data on Rakghoul colony movements. I want to stop her servants from getting it.
Aye. That is worrisome. Rakghouls are a hobby of mine. If I wanted Rakghoul colony data, I'd set up a sensor net to collect field readings. If I didn't have a sensor net, I'd use the settlers' sensors along the military front lines. Full of data your friends will want, unless you claim it first.
You're a useful man to have around.
Thank you. And I'm not finished. My own recipe of culto-derivative combat stimulants. Medicine to make you more deadly. Against your enemies, you'll need it.
So we grab the data before the Nikto do and shoot the ones in our way. Good times.
Thanks for the drugs, Doc.
You and
Nothing you give me will ever go inside of my body. Like, ever. Can you imagine Rakghoul drugs? I mean, I could totally imagine Rakghoul drugs. It is literally
make me look good.
A Sith plague, so... What? Do you want me to tell you, Zeiss? Yeah, they just take a bunch of Rakghouls, throw them in a blender for a minute. Actually, I can picture what Rakghoul tastes like right now. You ever have rotten meat that's just a little bit too gelatinous? Like it's squirmy and slimy. And it's not properly cooked. 'Cause I have. That's what Rakghoul tastes like. And there's like just dribbling bits of giblets pour. I'll stop. Sorry.
Rise and shine.
That's weird, but okay. Oh, and I didn't say this out loud, Zaston, but I will put that towards dealer's choice thing. No. Gach is tough. Chewy. Like, you ever have noodles that are actually really thick noodles? I mean, I'd probably eat Gach if they were dead when I ate them. That's kind of a limit for me. I don't eat living things.
Rise and shine.
You know, KOTOR never properly enunciated this. Look around at all this city that used to be. Granted, Terrace was a spit hole. But this whole planet was just kind of bombarded into oblivion because he was concerned that one person might get away. You ever think about that? Like, I know that's the point, and it's literally a character establishing moment, but it says a lot about the type of person Malik was. Yeah, it's... it's also the perfect way to differentiate someone like Malik from someone like Revan. Revan would never do that, even at their most evil. And the person got away anyways. Good job, Malik. See, that's the problem has this. It didn't work. Oh, sure, he blew up the planet, killed billions of lives, but she got away scot-free and defeated him. So it's kind of a double failure there. Yeah, sorry, you may have noticed I was panning the camera up there a little bit. That's part of what I was looking at just a second ago, or kind of. Because, yeah, like, some of these buildings are pretty much, like that one right there is a good example, are pretty much from KOTOR 1, just with, you know, ruins attached. I mean, Malik's voice actor was always legit. I thought that the first time I played that game, and I think that to this day.
This is Chance to Leggett. Can you hear me?
Leggett to Chance. I stopped Kai Saison's servants. They won't be getting that Rakghoul colony data.
Fantastic. I wish my news were that good.
Have you been injured?
Yeah, blaster burns. But the shrapnel's worse. I tracked down that scientist Kai Saison is after. She agreed to meet me in the ruins. I was on my way when Imperial scouts spotted me. I ditched them, but I'm bleeding fast.
Don't move. Tell me where you are and I'll be there soon.
Look, I have to be sure.
Pay attention to this.
Onomatophobia. I'm ordering you to my location at Dynamite General. Sending coordinates now.
I am on my way to Dynamite General.
I'm sorry, Cypher.
None of our options matter there either.
I don't want to die like this.
They can't resist using it. But you still have your mind. You can still think. That's your escape.
So, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here. There's actually a lot of ways to play Agent because of the options, than how many choices you can have and how you play it. But there's a specific way that I personally prefer to play it, even though I've done it several times. It's just so satisfying. And that is an agent who is a legitimately good person who really does want to help people, and constantly gets screwed around by everyone around them. Let me give you a direct example. That guy who just called for help, I was legitimate in my desire to go and help him. And I was going to go and save him. And then he used the keyword on me.
Chance, I came to meet you.
Thank you. I'm not good. Please, listen. Iana's cell is in here somewhere. The scientist Kai Saison needs to repair the ultra-wave transmitter. The scientist will only meet with SIS. Tell her the password. Gemstone.
You don't look good. Can you get to a medic?
If you can patch me up, I can... Ah! If you patch me up, I can get to an evac point. Keyword, Anna, Mod...
Twice. Twice he tries to use the keyword to control our brain through mind control. If there is one thing that my agent cannot abide, it is messing with the mind.
You can't say it, can you? Goodbye, Chance.
Please. Please.
No. I would have saved your life if you didn't try to brainwash me into it.
But you can't kill them all this way.
I keep hearing your voice. How is that possible?
Possible, Magister. But I stand by my statement. I had every intention to help that poor kid out. I was even nice to him. But no, he's dead. I hope he died badly.
Dr. Yanisel, I'm with the SIS. Password Gemstone. You agreed to meet with us?
Don't move. Just... hell. I barely know how to fire one of these things.
I can tell.
You have no idea how glad I am to see you. I've been hiding from that Jedi for weeks.
What do you know about Kai Saison?
Let me show you something. I kept it with me as evidence.
Dr. Sell, you haven't returned my calls. That's disappointing. The Jedi have plans for the rat ghouls, but I can't move forward without your support. Turn yourself over to the Nikto, or I'll make my case to you in person.
She's not a Jedi. She already killed Dr. Vernon and Professor Vrawl when they couldn't fix some transmitter. I'm the last rat ghoul expert on Terrace.
She needs you to complete a device for controlling rat ghouls?
Of course she does. She's completely crazy. If that's yours, I can wait.
What is it?
Cypher, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I believe I have a solution for both you and Dr. Sell.
You want to explain where you heard that name?
Yes, well, I was hoping you wouldn't ask that.
Who is this?
Dr. Eckhard Loken. I saw your lecture on xenometaphoric epidemiology. I understand your misgivings. How did he track me here? How did he survive the ruins unscathed? Both reasonable questions. But like you, I'm a resourceful person, and we do share a common goal. We're all friends of the Republic here. Right, Dr. Sell?
We can discuss our common interests another time. Make your pitch.
Thank you. Dr. Sell, I'd like you to tell the Republic that I'm your assistant.
You've gotta be kidding.
I know Rakghoul science well enough to convince Kai Saison that I'm an adequate substitute for Cell. I'll be taken to the ultrawave transmitter. Once captive, I signal you, and you find Kai Saison and the transmitter. And rescue me, of course.
Yes, Gary.
Would Kai Saison believe this man is your assistant?
What's the difference between a Hirano strain of the Rakghoul virus and the Bozan variant?
Mutation of the Claudite-derived gene sequence.
She'll believe him.
Doctor, please contact the authorities on an unsecured channel. Tell them your assistant is at Dynamet General and must be found.
It's your life on the line. Just be careful. Both of you.
One last thing while I wait to be captured. There is a chance the Republic will jam my signal to you. Before you come for Kai Saison, you'll have to sabotage their jamming stations. They're guarded by wilderness troopers. A good warm-up for fighting a Jedi Knight.
All right, make me look good.
You missed probably one of the better moments. Actually, you missed both of the better moments, Evo. I hope you'll watch the VOD for this. It's some really good stuff. I'm trying to fight off a migraine at the moment, so you'll forgive me for sounding a little bit quiet. I've already given it a plus for it, but I have to comment on it. We could argue whether or not the kid was in his right mind or scared because he was dying or whatever stupid reason. But the truth of it is, and the story makes it very clear, Chance not being able to resist using the mind control on us just really helps to emphasize one of the biggest themes of Act 2 and arguably Act 3. Control. Not the usual kind of control. The Lich King reaches out and dominates your mind completely. He operates you like you're a puppet. The Borg remove you from control of your body. So you just move around and do whatever it is that the algorithm tells you to do. But what this is more insidious. And it bothers me more for reasons I have a hard time explaining, other than the fact that the kind of brainwashing tech that they demonstrate here is not that far out of bounds from how real-life brainwashing works. Yeah, this is... mind control is almost a misnomer because it implies things that this is not. Indoctrination isn't actually a bad presentation, although there's some variability beyond that. But yeah, indoctrination is certainly a lot closer to this than anything else I just mentioned. Because yeah, it's a form of conditioning. It's a form of mental restructuring. And it has its own issues related to that. You've already seen the first thing. I don't even mind giving it away. The fact that we're hearing Watcher X's voice in our head. Keep in mind, you can kill Watcher X before this. Spoilers, if you kill him, you still hear him in your head at this point in the story. Which, in my opinion, implies all it needs to about where that voice is coming from.
Cypher, this is Dr. Lokin. I hope you're receiving this because I'm not going to get another chance. I'm inside Kai Saisons' base. She and her people are housed in an abandoned tunnel system in the main Republic compound. The ultrawave transmitter is here. When you arrive, I'll do my best to cause a ruckus, but please hurry.
But sorry, I was talking about the theme. So, this is an uncomfortable topic for me. But there's an old saying, if you ever have legal troubles, and it's on a criminal level. Now, let's be clear, it doesn't matter if you're guilty or not. Guilt is determined later. A lot of people don't understand that. If you are charged and arrested and brought into jail, you are not guilty of anything. That hasn't been determined yet. And I feel like emphasizing this because a huge amount of society doesn't seem to understand that distinction. But let's ignore that for just a moment. Here's the thing. Generally speaking, you tend to be released under one of two circumstances. One, because you effectively bribe the court system with a large amount of money that says, I'm legit, and I plan to actually participate in the legal process. That's bail. The way bail works is I give you money, and you hold on to it until whatever determination happens, whether I am found guilty or innocent, that money will at that point revert to me. But there's bail conditions, and I'm going somewhere with this, I swear, I'm not just trying to give you a legal lesson. Bail conditions are, you cannot do X, Y, and Z. If you do these things, you're considered to be in failure of bail. Now, obviously that means they arrest you again and bring you back in, but there's actually a much worse thing than that. It means they keep the money. Now here's the deal. The reason I'm bringing all that up is there's something they tell you first. It is literally 101, and I'm sharing this for you on the off chance you or anybody you know ever have any criminal legal issues, whether you are guilty or not. Do not tell anybody that you don't trust implicitly that you are on bail. Never do that. Why? Because the first thing that people tend to think about is they tend to think about it like, oh my gosh, that's so horrible. But the second thing is that is now something they can hold over you. That is a tool that you have handed to those people that they can use to convince you to do things, because it's not that hard for them to try and, call in a cop on you and say, oh yeah, such and such has been doing this or that, which they're not supposed to do. And it is incumbent upon the police to come and show up and arrest you for violation of bail on their word. Now you might think, oh, my friends would never do that, in which case you're missing the point of all this. Humans have a tendency to have ranges of acceptability. It's not binary. And the moment it becomes a lot easier or quicker or more profitable to do something amoral, or immoral, is the moment they tend to think of that as a substantially more likely thing that they will actually do. To wit, Chance, and his usage of the mind control thing on us. He probably had no real intention of using that. But he had that. He had that tool there. He knew the code word, and he knew we could use it on you. And so that shoved it up to the range of acceptability for him. Even though Chance is probably a relatively decent guy, he just couldn't actually resist using that tool he had on you. And that is the theme I'm trying to talk about. Because it's harder to describe that theme in like a single word. That's why it's taken me so long to build up to this point. But it is one of the themes of the agent work. That people, once they have that kind of knowledge or power or tool or whatever, they are substantially more likely to use it on someone, even if they otherwise wouldn't, simply because the tool is there.
This is Base Command to Leggett. Agent Chance has failed to report in. Therefore, I have to assume he's compromised. You are now primary on this mission.
How do I proceed, sir?
Keyword, onomatophobia. Your new objective is to retrieve the ultrawave transmitter from Kai Saison. I still want the Jedi taken down if possible, but she can't be our priority.
What makes the ultrawave transmitter important?
That's not your concern. Just get it back to me. May the Force be with you. Base Command out.
Did you notice that he immediately started it with the command word? That is now 3 times on Terrace alone that people have used the command word to try, attempted to use the command word to try and mind control. Again, mind control is the wrong word. To try and control us. Now, the second time failed, and that's why Chance is dead. But, you know. Force, that's a good word. Try to force us. Actually, onomatophobia is the fear of hearing a specific word. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, absolutely, Evo. I do absolutely agree with that concept. Because the idea here... this is a bit of a spoiler, but there are people who will never use that code word on us. And I mentioned that because that goes back to the power enabling thing. Because those people are actually decent people. Their range of acceptability doesn't go far enough down to use that. Mr. Jedi Knight, he has no problem using it on us. And wait until we meet Hunter again. Us.
Hey, if we kill her, can I have a lightsaber?
Yes.
Funny. When the Nikto said a girl was coming after me, I thought she'd be a challenge.
And when I heard a Jedi was leading a Nikto cult, I thought she'd be older than 12.
It is her. She who killed my brothers.
Easy, Fentar. We can call each other names, but I'm about to become ruler of all Terrace. And then, when I own this place, I'll take my cult and my Rakghouls and make a nasty little paradise for anyone who swears loyalty.
So, first of all, you're welcome to Terrace, lady. Second of all, this is a very small insight into something I've actually talked about several times before. The Jedi Order is one of the biggest sources of of dark side recruits. Because the Jedi Order is so restrictive and nonsense and stupid, and all the other stuff we've talked about so many times, that it produces people like her. Reminder, this is not a Sith, this is a Jedi.
You want to rule a world?
It's my destiny. You wouldn't understand, but then, neither does the Republic. Not now! I'm going to deal with you. I am going to kill you. And then back to business.
Okay.
You and me? It's getting good.
Exactly, Loke.
Oh, you cheating little... Ugh. The Nikto said you were good, but I'm still their savior. When I'm gone, they'll sing the death song of Threshalu. What do you say to that?
You were a savior. Now you're a martyr.
Cripes. When Jedi go nuts, they don't kid around.
Oscar Stupa.
Oh yeah, so that is Dr. Loken.
How invigorating. Cypher, I hope you don't mind that I freed myself. I wanted the chance to look through Kai Saisons' research.
You tried to play me from the beginning. Now I'm out of patience.
Everything I've done has been to your benefit. While I was examining Kai Saisons' laboratory, I found this, the ultra-wave transmitter. It's all yours.
What the hell are you?
You're understandably suspicious. As soon as we distance ourselves from the Republic Army, I promise to answer all your questions.
Rendezvous at the Imperial Command Center. And don't get killed on the way.
I'll do my very best.
Yeah, if you missed that, he was eating that guy's insides. It's just, this engine doesn't support that. Probably a good thing. Hence the invigorating.
Dr. Loken?
Cypher, I'd like to make a proposal. For 5 minutes, you and I pretend to trust one another. We lay our cards on the table. No lies, no hidden recorders, just truth.
You have a deal. How do we start?
I've been studying the Rak ghouls for some time. I came to Taris to review the research of others, the same research Kai Saisons stole. My goal was to perfect a custom strain of the Rak ghoul virus. Keyed to my own genetic structure, it currently allows free reversion between human and Rak ghoul forms.
I don't understand. You wanted to become a Rak ghoul?
There are advantages. Consider an unarmed operative who could enter a secure location and grow teeth. I'm merely a test subject. Of course, our superiors wouldn't agree with my choice of personal projects. It seems both of us lied about being sent here by Imperial intelligence.
That's a very interesting theory. Maybe you should explain.
I don't think too much elaboration is wise. But your unusual contacts, your search for the ultra-wave transmitter. I understand, Cypher, that working without official sanction can be a necessary evil. But, given what we know about one another, I think I ought to stay close to you. An alliance rather than mutual destruction.
I'm not sure I understand what you're asking.
We could both go to our superiors and expose one another's secrets. But who does that help? You let me take my research onto your ship, and I'll contribute my share. Besides, with Kai Saison dealt with, I need something to keep myself occupied.
I should probably mention that, as usual, you do not have the option to say no to a new companion.
You can join my team, but one misstep, and you're floating through space.
I'll gather my belongings and meet you on board. Oh, and one last thing. About the ultra-wave transmitter. You know that Nason Gadera was notorious for hiding secrets in his devices? Encrypted codes, maps to lost projects? Just something I heard. I'll see you shortly.
If he tries to talk to me, I'm tearing his head off. Otherwise, I'm good with this. All right, make me look good.
Oh no, it's much better presented than several of the other cases. It's just, I know several players, myself included, who would probably not actually recruit Loken. Now, that's a little bit of out-of-character knowledge, because I know a lot more about him than my character does. But,
Always a pleasure, Master.
you know.
I hope you're having an excellent day and feel no desire to deactivate me.
It's in your head. You can't keep it there.
This is Leggett to Base Command. I have retrieved the ultrawave transmitter.
Base Command here. Connect the Gadara device to your link-up. I'll download what I need. A Special Forces team found Kai Saison dead with her guards. I'll have to inform the Jedi Council.
Kai Saison was insane. Death was a mercy.
Damnation! Not everyone's fit to be a Jedi. The Order's practically asking them to fall. And then... Download's complete. Let's hope the genius in that thing helps us win this war.
It's breaking your skull. Can you hear it crack?
You don't look so good, Leggett. Take a few days, check in with your bosses. We'll have another job soon.
Can you see? Cipher 9. Leggett. Disposable operative. It's been a while since Shadowtown.
I just want to pause and acknowledge something. It's actually pretty hard to do good storyboarding in this engine. I've mentioned this a few times because most of the storyboards, most of the cutscenes, the animations, suck. It's one of the reasons I was praising Sith Warrior so well. It's because Sith Warrior actually had several good scenes. That scene we just saw probably took more time than every other cutscene in Vanilla Tor. Not combined, but like just in general, right? Because that is a huge number of moving parts and really stretching what the engine's capable of doing in order to get that across.
I can't move. I can barely think. What's going on?
When you met me on Nar Shaddaa, I was designated Watcher X, formerly Watcher 5, formerly Minder 8. I performed surgery on you, do you remember? A chip in your spine to disguise your life readings. Maybe that chip is how we're talking now, or maybe it's the stress. Double agent, triple agent. The brainwashing damages your mind.
Only the SIS knows about the programming. I can't even talk about it.
I was in your position once, trapped by my conditioning, forced to subvert it. I warned you they'd do the same to you. The SIS isn't to blame. We both know you were programmed before you met them.
The Republic doesn't have the technology. Brainwashing is an imperial science.
Yes, slave serums, genetic engineering, chilic pheromones. But this I don't recognize. If you want freedom, if you want revenge, we need more information. Imperial intelligence will have records on Drummond Cass. Take your personnel files from the Citadel archives. Ensure no one sees you. You have no allies now.
Readings are stable. Ah, our patient is awake.
We found you in the plague sleep. We watched, but could not mend you.
I appreciate the thought, but I'll be all right. Just exhausted.
No, you're not. But this isn't the Hive, and we can't hear your thoughts. We respect your privacy.
It's been a while since I played Ship's Doctor. There is something odd here, Cypher.
And yeah, did you notice that the stuff that Watcher X mentioned is all stuff we've encountered in Act 1? But this, what they did to us, is arguably much worse.
Cypher, I finished unpacking the last of my equipment. Between your ship's onboard systems and my custom apparatus, you'll soon have the finest in-flight laboratory in the sector.
This in-flight laboratory of mine, does it serve a particular purpose?
For now, I expect to find it occupied by the Rakghoul data we procured. But I'm sure we'll find other uses. Officially, of course, I'm in semi-retirement, monitoring background radiation somewhere in the Zetan Wastes. Unofficially, I'm very much looking forward to traveling with you.
Understood, Doctor. I've never been to the Zetan Wastes, and we've never met.
An excellent start. I expect this should prove very interesting. Should you need anything from me, you only have to ask. Although, if you want my genetic code rewritten, let me know before we leave the ship.
I thought you could become a Rakghoul whenever you wanted.
It's somewhat more complicated and time-consuming. Well, nothing to be concerned with, but rarely an option in the field. Good day.
That's a good question, Magister. The game deliberately never answers what's going on with Watcher X and how we can talk to him. Temple is probably as close as we get, Evo. We haven't met her yet.
I'm worried your shooting's a little off. All that tech stuff weighing you down. We ever go blasters only, your kill count won't look good next to mine.
I'm going to assume that's your natural good cheer.
You assume right. No one hunting me down, no exes mooning over me. Last time I cleaned house, I was playing Anarchist on Brental. Feels good to be free again.
Oh yeah, you also missed her quest, which really helped elucidate how terrible of a person she is.
That's not the first time you've talked about Brental. What did you do there?
The whole anarchy, freedom, destruction thing. Politics and bombs. The naivete of youth. Of course, now I've matured. I need to figure out a plan. I could go after a big score, try something other than spy games. You could come with me.
You're not bad company, and I could use a change of pace.
Yeah. You and me traveling the galaxy. Doing something. Getting into trouble. Haven't worked it out past that, but I'll let you know.
You know, I was thinking about this during the earlier shift today. You know what the difference is between Jack and Khalio? Jack is fundamentally a good person who has been damaged and ruined by a galaxy that's absolutely just devastated her since he was a child. Khalio is not fundamentally a good person, etc., etc., etc.
So, here's what I figure. Every morning you get up, you exercise, you check your gear, you do your thing to prep. You've got flowcharts tattooed on your eyelids. Me, I'm lucky when I don't crawl out of bed drooling on the floor. How is it I keep up with you? Am I just that good, or does dirty fighting beat training after all?
I'd never argue your skills aren't impressive.
Admit it. We're a good team. You with the gimmicks and me with the rough stuff. We're not tripping over each other anymore. Took a while, but you and me, we're a synced-up death machine.
Which is funny, because I'm about to replace you as my party member for the rest of the game.
Give us a few more years, we'll be taking out star cruisers.
You set up the shot, I'll take it, Agent.
Last night, we ate our first ration bar since leaving the nest. We savored the flavor for 2 hours. We could taste every nutrient, every chemical compound and trace of foil. Do you know what joining the Killix does to a person's senses?
Should I be sending you on more nighttime missions?
We can't see into every spectrum or smell poison under our nose, but our eyesight has improved. That does bring up something we want to discuss. How do you see our role as operative on your team?
You're a capable partner, and I value your input.
And our skill set? Keeper described us as a covert assault agent. Our role as Dawn Herald gives us that capacity. We just don't know if that's the only reason we're here, or if it should be.
If there's information you have, or aid you can provide, tell me. I'm still learning your talents.
So are we, in a sense. But Agent, our whole life, we've been a diplomat. Whatever else we become, perhaps we shouldn't abandon that so readily. Agent, we hope you don't mind, but we were wondering something. Do you have a family, siblings, a husband, people to go home to after a mission?
Not much room for that in our line of work.
We suppose not. We're just trying to understand how anyone in this job keeps a tether to the real world. None of us can exist in isolation forever.
Eventually, violence and deceit become second nature. This becomes your real world.
Maybe it shouldn't, Agent. And maybe you should find another way before it does. Then again, we're new here. Apologies.
You wanted to talk?
Yes. The suns are warmer here. Nothing that smells so green when the gamma bursts come. Even the song can rest. We must go. Auras mingle. Apologies, Agent. Emissaries from our nest. They stowed away aboard the ship and have accompanied us since we left Alderaan. They're becoming quite sociable.
I don't see a swarm around you. Can they turn invisible?
No, but they can grow very large or very small. These live within our flesh. The Killiks of Alderaan know little of the galaxy, only what they absorb through joiners. Our journey teaches them a great deal, but there is something that intrigues us, intrigues the nest. The fate of our lost kin.
What lost kin?
Alderaan has only a handful of nests, sleeping beneath the castle lands and awakening every few centuries. The other Killiks migrated off-world millennia ago. No one knows what became of them, or whether they survived. But the migration is a primal memory. We miss them.
Spoilers, they helped some Force gods build a station that can teleport planets through hyperspace.
How can you miss long-lost ancestors?
The nest never forgets. Memories sink into the unconscious, then resurface ages later. We don't know if it's truly important to find them, but as Dawn Herald, we'll be watching.
I'm not making that up, by the way. Okay. Tell you what, this is good role-playing time. I think I feel right now in real life kind of what my agent is feeling like. Yes, I'm referring to Centerpoint Station. Come on.
You and me, we're getting good.
I'm actually past headache, but I'm managing because I took some real pain pills. I still have a few from the tooth. Why don't you let me teleport from the frickin'... No, because it can go past this, too. I've had to start distinguishing between migraines and real migraines, because I've had both. And then there's cluster headaches, which can go straight to hell.
You and me, we're getting good.
In my experience, most people have never had nor even heard of a cluster headache. And all I can say to that is good. Cluster headaches are terrible. I don't get them often, thankfully. In fact, I haven't had one in years. Thank God for that. Oops.
You and me?
Oh, right. Get out of my party.
All right, make me look good. I'm gone.
At your command.
The dispatch from Cypher 4 is in. More Republic support on Manan.
Proceed with the operation. I'll hold on. Sir, I thought you'd been assigned to the front lines. What brings you to headquarters?
I have some research I want to do. I was hoping to visit the data archives.
Of course, but you really don't have to come all this way. I can assign analysts to you.
Go. They'll be suspicious soon.
Yes, Hazardous.
Look around. Security cameras, gas vents, lockdowns. Your personnel files are here, everything on your brainwashing. But you need to keep this secret.
Let them see. Maybe they'll even figure out what happened.
They'll stop you before you access your first unauthorized file, or assume you're doing it for the SIS. Either way, your life is over. If you can find a power generator, you can sabotage security. You'll have a window in which to access the files unseen, but it won't last.
Careful now.
See ya, Eva. You'll also notice, similar to Sith Warrior, Agent has more involved, non-planet-based quests, too. You know, like it was an actual video game and not just something that had to paint by numbers.
This is Watcher 3. Cypher 9, are you down there? We're reading a power failure. The exit's sealed automatically, and droid safeguards are coming online. They'll fire at anything. Stay put until we get the backup system on.
He can't see you. Slice the system while you can.
Would. God dang it. Of course they send droids that can scan here. You know, I've had a lot of years to ponder why Agent and Sith Warrior are so many levels better than everything else. Like, it's not just the Empire is better. These two classes just absolutely dwarf every other class in the game. I'm in combat. I think it actually has to do with allocation of resources more than anything else. I would bet you money that they started working on these either first or last. And thus they had time really devoted to them properly, you know what I mean? Like they were able to just actually flesh out and develop the class arcs. And then they're like, alright, this is great, and then we'll work on Inquisitor, and then we'll work on Bounty Hunters. What about the Republic classes? That's a good point. We should work on those too. Wait, we need to release in a year?
Power reserves low. Access denied due to security lockdown.
Search records. Keyword cross-reference. Cypher 9, Watcher X, Killick joining. SLV-16 serum.
Searching. One record found. Displaying abstract.
Security Directive 101-3A. I hereby approve the application of Castellan restraints to designate Cypher 9. Despite her effectiveness, certain Lords of the Sith have expressed concern over her confrontation with Darth Jabus. Although the outcome was ultimately positive, no Cypher agent should ever threaten a Dark Council member. This safeguard will allow anyone with the keyword to shut down and reprogram Cypher 9's mind. She will be no danger to the Sith or the Empire.
Security override. Terminal shutting down.
Yep. That's not only who did it, but why? That is one of the themes of the work. We are incapable of getting out from under the thumb of those who are our superiors. No, okay. He is not.
Power reserves low. Access denied due to security lockdown.
Search records. Keyword, Castellan restraints. And reversal.
One record found. Displaying abstract.
In most subjects, implementation takes between 3 and 30 days, as the IX serum circulates and rewires the brain. Once the serum is fully absorbed, the subject is primed. We apply a keyword, basic commands, and wipe his memory. No way to reverse the treatment has been developed. Theoretically, one could repeat the cycle and apply a new keyword. However, physical side effects of repeated IX serum usage could prove inhibiting. I strongly advise against it.
Security override. Terminal shutting down.
Credit where credit is due. There is no cure. Which makes sense. What they're doing, again, is not the level of control that most fiction does. This is basic brainwashing. Chemical, chemically enhanced, but it is still brainwashing. There is no undoing brainwashing. It doesn't work that way. However, if you're paying attention, we do have an out.
Power reserves low. Access denied due to security lockdown.
Search records. Keyword, IX serum.
Downloading chemical schematic. Displaying addendum.
We will be unable to formulate new doses of IX serum until our supply of Dimalium-6 is replenished. Recommend additional forces to Republic-occupied world of Quesh immediately, as the planet's chemical mines remain our only source.
Security override. Terminal shutting down.
Now you know. You did your job well, so they stole your free will. With the IX serum, you can get it back.
I'm going to Quesh to formulate that serum. I'm going to undo this programming.
Soon.
This is Watcher 3 to Cypher 9. We've restored power. Please proceed to the exit.
Honestly, the idea of this scientist is kind of terrifying in its own right. By the way, did you notice that even Jadis' thing was a form of brainwashing? It's the type of brainwashing that bothers me. Because it's not using pheromones or a serum or even, electro whatever. He would just apply stimuli to people and change how he reacted to them based on what they did. Kind of like what they did to Geordi over in TNG. Do what you're told, good things happen. Do something else, bad things happen. We adapt. And it uses our adaptability against us. Yeah, it's like Picard said, for just a minute I thought I could see 5 lights. Yeah, exactly, Hazardous. It is exactly why this kind of thing bothers me so much. There is no Lich King in real life. There's no Zerg Swarm. But that kind of brainwashing, that's a real thing.
Cypher, I'm so sorry. Must have been a power surge. Probably lightning. You're alright?
Did the whole Citadel go dark? Or just the archives?
Archives plus a few secondary systems. No harm done. We do need to hold you until this is cleared up. Nothing personal, but you were down there unmonitored, and you know.
There's no time. The information I found is vital, and I have to reach a contact immediately.
Keeper said you might need a loose rein. Fine, but we may call you back later. Go.
They really do need to insulate those generators better, don't you think?
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, you've probably wondered several times why Quesh is even in this game. Welcome to why Quesh is in this game. Also, the last time we're going to hit the elevator. Place your bets. Will it be death? Will we plummet to our death? We lived last time.
This is Quesh Control to Intelligence Vessel. Your docking permit is approved, but your arrival is unscheduled. Please state your purpose.
Quesh Control, I'm sending you a list of chemical compounds I'd like delivered to my ship.
I can't help you, sir. I'm not authorized to access our chemical inventory. I suggest you contact Administrator Croyus planetside. He oversees all chemical warehousing.
Point me to the Administrator, and I'll be out of your hair.
Uploading directions now. Stay safe, sir. Republic forces are close to the base, and we can't guarantee protection. Quesh Control out.
Find the chemicals. Make the serum. You will be free again.
I was thinking that too, Hazardous. And you're right. Like I said, we are extremely adaptive creatures. It's our greatest advantage by a huge margin. We can adapt to an enormous amount of things. It always bothers me when something tries to abuse that. In real life or in fiction. But yeah, if you're paying attention, you know how literally the other 7 quests are side quests at best? You notice how this isn't? You caught that, right? This is actually main plot. This is central. This is the closest thing to a true MSQ we've ever really had on Quesh. It wasn't even just on Quesh, too. It was Droman Koss and then Quesh. Alright, here we go. Oh, whoop. Whoop. Oh, jeez. We made it! We lived. The elevator was here. That's 2 out of 5, I believe. Yep, we've had a lot of side quests. It's time for the main quest. I mean, Loken is probably 1,000,000, Triaxia. Kalio's probably 1,000,000. And Scorpio's probably 1,000,000.
If the canisters were damaged, the Bospiridium gas will eat both flesh and circuits. You understand, my toy? Yes, now clean it up and incinerate the bodies. They're contaminated now.
Not gonna think about that.
Administrator Croyus?
Yes, the intelligence operative. Control informed me of your situation. I wish you told me in advance.
Did you say incinerate the bodies?
Incompetent workforce. I ran Greg the Hutt spice warehousing on Kessel, and it was no better then. 07, fetch! Now! You'll have your samples presently. Unfortunately, I'm out of Dimalium-6. The Republic seized that chem mine some time ago, and their transports are under guard.
I'll need maps, and anything you have on their security.
You have seen the Republic forces, snipers, battle drones? Not that it matters to me. I've done my best to sate your people's appetites for hallucinogenic tea, mind eaters, or what have you. I think you'd appreciate it.
Here's the chemical supplier. He helped them change you. Are you going to let him go unpunished?
Operative?
Your help is appreciated, Administrator.
Very well. I must return to my work.
To the mining transport, I take it, for this mystery chemical of yours.
Hey, Giga. You may or may not find this as amusing as I do. So, chat. We can choose one of 3 people to take with us to try and deprogram ourselves. Dr. Loken, Kaleo, or Vector. Whom do you pick? Whom do you trust the most of those 3?
Displaying all authorized destinations.
The butler droid. Yeah, no, it's Vector. The answer is Vector. It's funny to think about, because even he is not someone I trust. He is simply someone I trust more than the others. Kaleo, she would use the control on a laugh, just for fun. And would be willing to talk if it amused her. The Doctor is incredibly evil, and has his own plans and machinations, and literally an absence of a conscience. Vector? He has no motive. Oops, we weren't supposed to get this song yet. I do agree, if Vector had a reason to use it on us, then he would, probably without hesitation. But of course, you are correct. The answer, and I think I will agree with this, is the droid.
You may have your privacy.
You're probably thinking, why? Well, this droid is going to be turned into slag as soon as this quest is done, canonically. I'm not joking about that. That is actually what my character would do here. Come in here with the droid, deal with this situation, slag the droid. I even feel bad about it, but there is no alternative there. No, I don't even think that way. I feel bad for the droids. I like droids. And I think they're actually people. But that's, you know. Also, this droid's annoying, so I don't feel as bad about killing it as usual. Ah, fair to thought. It's actually funny. In-universe, nobody really cares about droids except for the few exceptional freaks, who are almost always talked about as if they're weird for doing it. Out of universe, droids are almost universally beloved. No, seriously. Look up sales figures for like, action figures and the like sometime. Never mind the fact that people, even people who don't like some of the movies, tend to love the droids in the movies. It's a really common trend in real life. It's funny to me. Yeah, BB-8 is absolutely adorbs. Yeah, K2 is just amazing, and not just the least foolish bike because of his voice actor. Mouse droids? I mean, come on, right? Hell, HK-47 to really hammer the point in.
Can you feel it?
Gunk.
The serum begins its work, bonding to spinal fluid, retracing neural pathways. Painful. Effective.
You may have saved my life. I won't forget that.
Your memory is the least of my concerns. The serum's course is unpredictable and it will take time, but you will be free from the brainwashing. For now, the SIS is waiting. They won't recognize your chance to escape when it comes, but I will.
And apparently that's not the scene I thought it was. I'm sorry. There's another scene I was building up for. My apologies. I actually don't care for the IG droids, believe it or not. I think I'm the only person in the world who doesn't. I thought we were already there. My bad. You can tell I'm having my own
Codename
head
Saber to
issues.
codename Leggett. We've been waiting for your all clear. Everything all right?
It takes time to shore up relationships inside the Empire. I can't be constantly answering to you.
I've done undercover jobs, Leggett. 3 months as a collaborator in the Ryloth slave pits. It's rough. Master Koth has another mission for you. He wants you heading to the Hoth system soon as possible. Contact him once you arrive.
Hoth.
Saber out.
Right. Yay. Yeah, the IGs are dull. I actually like the idea of an assassin droid, legitimately. But the IG-88s, they're just kind of, eh. Oh yeah, visual warning for, I believe, the final time.
Codename Legate to Base Command. Come in, Base Command.
Base command receiving, Leggett. Don't be surprised if I cut out. The whole Hoth system is murder on the comms. And not so good for people, either.
You say that like you've had experience.
Not personally. Friends. Hoth.
Hang on.
Codename Legate to Base... Is that why you've sent your most expendable asset?
No one's expendable. Different skills merit different assignments. Hoth's a frozen rock, not worth much on its own. But years back, it saw one of the war's biggest battles. Hundreds of ships got dragged into the atmosphere, made a sort of a starship graveyard for the best girls in the fleet. You're going to bring one home.
There's got to be a catch.
It's a war zone down there. Republic salvage operations, Imperial saboteurs, and the White Maw. A few thousand pirates who want the scrap for themselves. Plus, the Starbreeze is a Mu-type shuttle. Slip of a thing. Haven't been able to locate her in the wreckage. Our only lead is inside the Imperial Army.
What makes the SIS want the shuttle so badly?
The Starbreeze belongs to the Republic. It's important to us. That's all I can say for now.
You locked down my mind. Now you can't even explain the mission.
You chose to work with the SIS. I'm treating you like I would any new agent. We have reports that Lyak Davos, an Imperial admiral who fought in the Battle of Hoth, is assembling an expedition to the Starship Graveyard. He's after a long list of salvage, the Starbreeze included. Join Admiral Davos and get that shuttle to us instead.
If I steal the Admiral's prize, it won't be long before someone figures it out.
You're craftier than that. You do this right, no one has to know. Codename Hunter will contact you from the field. He's en route to Hoth now.
Goody.
In the meantime, talk to Admiral Davos' search and recovery men at the Imperial base. With any luck, they'll show us the way.
I will give him, I can't remember his name, what's his name? Arden, one thing. He does not like what he does for a living. At all. He still does it, so he's not completely blameless. But you can tell the man does not enjoy treating his agents this way, including us.
Cypher, join us. Vector and I were just discussing Moff Letshara.
We never met her, of course.
Quite fortunate, that. But Vector did know her husband, a fine Dejaric player and a scribe of the Ilfmar Gambit.
We apparently share the Doctor's taste in theatre.
I didn't know you were interested in theatre.
Think of it as a testing ground for human nature, much like the game of Dejaric.
We can finish this later, Doctor.
Your crew members are delightful people. For instance, did you know Mistress Kaleo is fluent in Kalish profanities? A rare and admirable skill. I wonder how you manage them. Leadership is such a delicate thing.
You sound like you've thought about this.
I confess it had crossed my mind. A dead or alienated colleague is a resource lost, and in our business, it's a small step from being disliked to being blacklisted.
So, if I was evil, which thankfully I'm not, I would go ahead and mention that one of the best ways to get in good with people, get them to like you, is to just talk about little things. Not things that matter, not big things. Just like hobbies or interests or theater or whatever. Get to know what they like, and then try to figure out why they like that thing. You're probably thinking, why? Because the reasons people like things and the things that they like actually offer tremendous insight into the person that likes them. You can learn a lot about someone without ever asking them anything about themselves if you analyze how and what, why. And you notice that is exactly what Loken is doing here. He is getting to know the crew from an intelligence agent perspective.
Alienate enough people and you find yourself running unauthorized missions on a dead planet.
Quite. I could tell you stories. But I'm afraid I have to attend to my data analysis program. Another time, Cypher.
I'll even give you a freebie, Yada. You know why I like video games more than non-interactive fiction? Because it involves doing.
Always a pleasure, Master.
It's not passive.
I hope you're having an excellent day.
I prefer to be active.
We've been dreaming lately. Great Spitcrete vessels weep dew above the castle lands. Their engines scorch the air. Dartship swarms shade the sky, humming a song of farewell. We remember the Great Migration. When the lost nests departed Alderaan.
What was the point of the migration? Why did so many Killiks leave?
That we don't remember. Resources, perhaps? But there's something else. In our dream, there is a mosaic that mirrors the stars and shows us the Lost One's destination. We request leave for a pilgrimage agent to follow the first steps of the migrant Killiks.
Sure, but only if you go make out with Giga while you're there.
You think the lost nests are still out there?
It's been millennia since the migration, and we doubt we'll see more than dust or petrified shells. Still, the journey honors our kin. We're already packed.
I'll be here when you're done. Take care of yourself.
And you.
Wow, that was a long one. That was like 5 seconds.
So, you made it back from your pilgrimage.
Our journey is over. We saw strange worlds and markers set in stone and frozen lakes of steaming colors, but no Killiks. The colony found planets that suited them, but none that could support them. They divided into 1,000 nests, each going its own way, to 100 different stars.
Let's rephrase that in a way that's even more terrifying. The Killiks spread out across the galaxy, instead of being stuck on Alderaan.
I know this isn't the end you were hoping for.
We forged a connection to the lost colony. Even if we didn't find it, this means a great deal. In any event, we're sorry. What? There is a scent here.
You're not giving up already. We apologize for surprising you, but it took time for us to become aware of your presence. More to find you. But we welcome you nonetheless. We are Daizana, of the Lesai Nest.
Yeah, that's not terrifying.
Maybe you should handle this.
Daizana of Lese. We are Vector Hillis, Dawn Herald of Oroboro.
Oroboro? We barely recognize the scent. We thought we'd lost the nests of Alderaan until you followed. Our fleet ship pursued you here. The colony still exists, spun across the stars. Our nests still kin. 1 trillion and more Killiks will dance and sing tonight.
That's actually horrific.
She seems to like you, Vector.
She is a joiner, Agent. It's how we are.
Our emissaries are not far from your own. Let them touch and bring knowledge.
Yes, the Lese shall rejoice. She offers dancing and Membrosia the chance to walk the tunnels of the Synapse Comb.
The Dawn Herald must come with us. As his partner, you may accompany and share in our joy.
No, you go ahead.
I think I'd just get in your way. But enjoy yourself.
We'll see you shortly, then.
Come, we begin.
Alright. Is the tracker on Vector accurate? Alright, base Delta Zero. I repeat, base Delta Zero.
Brought together an ancient people. It is a great gift. We hear the singing of 1,000 nests, and we are at peace.
I shouldn't have done that. Just exerting myself that tiny bit hurt my head more. It's worth it. Oh, thank God, Oculus. Just hurry it up if you could, would you?
I'm glad you're in high spirits. Call it a day, then?
Agreed, Agent.
Oh, God. Alright, I need to go vomit really quick. I'll be right back. would.
Have I mentioned recently how much I enjoy
I mute the
serving?
mic whenever I get up anyways, okay.
Lucky droid master.
Hey, Blue Wolf. Hope your day's going better than mine. Right. Alright, let's see how bad Hoth is going to be, shall we? Reminder. It's a visual sensitivity warning for anybody who has not seen Hoth before. Let's see if we need to do the cold wing. I know we need to do Quesh. Do we need to do cold, though? Hey, we don't. Dang it. Oh, wow. That's really impressive, Blow Felix. I'm actually curious when we cover FF6 into the current system where it's going to land. Like, no joking, no memeing, no anything.
What do your people know about Grid Alpha 9?
Pirate territory, heavily fortified.
Can you get me numbers?
Perhaps, but our manpower is limited.
Manpower? Excuse me. Captain Leo Firth, search and recovery. Saw your docking authorization. You must be our visitor from intelligence.
Come here, Sergeant. What's your name?
Sergeant Athentero, Chiss Expansionary Defense Force, permanently attached to Imperial Search and Recovery. It is an honor to work with our allies in the Empire.
Please excuse us, Sergeant. Your friends in the Chiss Ascendancy know Hoth pretty well, but friendship only goes so far. So, what is it you came here for?
I mean, to be blunt, Mr. Red, I'm pretty sure it'll rate below WoW as well. That's why MMOs are on a different scale.
Leek Davos, head of search and recovery. Where is he?
The Admiral's a good man, but you're out of luck. He left base with his expedition 36 hours ago. Long-range comms are almost useless in this weather. You want to wait? He'll be back in a few weeks.
Give me his last known location and I'll be going.
Look, there might still be a crew at the expedition launch site. It's where the Admiral's supply line to the Starship graveyard starts. But trying to reach the launch point now is suicide. Weather's bad, and there are Republic commandos in the area.
I expect your cooperation, Captain. Maps, supplies, anything you can provide.
Yes, sir. Sergeant Thent.
Captain.
Equip our visitor for travel. She'll need all the help she can get.
You know what? I'll take that, Blow Up Alex. Oh, thank you. So, last warning for the visual brightness problem. And there it is. Yep, that's fun. Favorite cake? I'm not a big cake person. But there's this one type of cake. Back in Reno. They called it suicide pie. They stopped calling it that for some reason. It was 7 different types of chocolate. Like 7 distinct types of chocolate layered on top of each other. They'd only give you slices like this thin. It was really good. My mother used to make fun of me because I could actually eat a whole slice.
Packed and ready, Admiral. Unless you're worried about the captain's flare.
No. We cannot wait.
Intruder alert.
Officer, I am Admiral Davos, commander of this expedition. You were not invited.
Cypher 9. Imperial Intelligence.
An intelligence agent? Of course. You must excuse our caution. Hoth is not a world that forgives mistakes, a lesson that scarred me long ago.
Weapons down, everyone.
We are in the midst of a delicate operation. These men are preparing to follow me to the starship graveyard.
I came for help, Admiral. Have you heard of a Republic shuttle called the Starbreeze?
The Colonel's vessel, indeed. What is your interest in it?
I need to know everything. Who's the Colonel? What makes the ship special?
Enough to make a man wealthy for a lifetime. A pity you did not come to me earlier. Now, I'm afraid we approach the crisis point, and I cannot afford additional risk. Commander, torture her and find out what she knows. Then kill her.
Oh, well, if you put it that way. Let me introduce you to my friend, the Sith Lord here. I'm not sure what, you know, their Darth name is, but it's Darth something, so I'd be worried if I were you.
You live. It is good. Don't bother returning to base. Captain Firth is gone and Admiral Davos bribed most of the others.
You were with Search and Recovery.
Correct. There is a location beyond the frozen lake. You'll find answers. Coordinates sent.
Have you been watching me?
We've been watching the sensors. Picked up blaster fire and assumed things had gone wrong. For the glory of the Ascendancy.
Nice little touch there. Love the subtleties in the story arc, I really do. So there you go, Darth Oculus. Hey, this is Darth Oculus. So, if you want to not be dead...
At your command.
I would highly recommend pissing off. Okay. This one. I was actually thinking about that recently, Blow Off Alex. I don't know if you remember this, or if you're around back then, but a long time ago, like 6 or 7 years ago, we were doing one of the early reviews, like way before we codified any of the methods. And someone mentioned that it was unfair to compare a game like, I think it was Baldur's Gate 2, to a game like, you know, Final Fantasy IV. And they said it was because that, you know, the sheer quantity of content would obviously make Baldur's Gate better. And I was like, well, no, you're flipping that. Because what that is that's more opportunities to succeed. Sure, more opportunities for positives. But that's also more opportunities for negatives. And I mentioned this in relation to what you mentioned with Fire Emblem Three Hopes. Because, yeah, all those conversations might seem like cheating, but they still have to be good, right? So it's actually harder to do something longer that's good. In other words, I'm completely with the mentality. I think we just lost Orkano. Okay, this is strange. Let's try this again. Is it down? It's down, isn't it? Alright, whatever. There.
Arterial bleeding.
I can make it! I didn't make it. What's funny is I was probably like 5, maybe 10 feet before I could have made it. Also true, Yada. It's much easier for longer to outstay its welcome. Damn, that's impressive, Blow-Off. Thank you, Darth Oculus. Just enjoy the ride for the time being. There it goes. Let's just say. Was not letting you cast that. Whoop, 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 whoop. Appreciate you.
There.
Grom is a fascinating and complex character I can't summarize right now.
As secret bases go, this isn't bad at all.
Hello, Ensign Temple.
Sorry for not contacting you sooner. No one thought Admiral Davos's men would actually start shooting. Ensign Rena Temple, Chiss Expansionary Defense Force. Welcome to Zero Station.
You're kidding, right?
This is a top-secret Chiss Ascendancy installation. Self-sufficient, running in parallel with the above-ground outposts. Paranoia at work.
But our paranoia paid off.
And this is our base commander, Aristocra Saganu.
It's an honor to have you with us, despite the situation with Admiral Davos. Welcome home.
It's good to be among friends, sir.
You have the ensign to thank, you know. It isn't the homeworld, but she was instrumental in bringing you here. My agents have been watching Admiral Davos for months. We became suspicious when he brought in his own crew, officers loyal to him, and covered it with bribes. Lately, he brought heavy equipment and guns, built an army for his expedition to the Starship Graveyard. You threatened his control.
A career admiral doesn't commit treason out of the blue.
He must be after the Graveyard's salvage, prototype technology, military databanks. It could make him unimaginably wealthy. I won't proceed without Imperial sanction. Grant it, and we can stop Admiral Davos and his plans together.
I like you, Aristocra. You're young, smart, professional. We'll make a good team.
I hope you're right. I enjoy a challenging partnership. The White Moor pirates control the wastelands between here and the Starship Graveyard. The Admiral's been sending his people out there for weeks.
My scouting party caught them burying some sort of supply caches. We don't know what the Admiral's caches are for, but if you could get us reconnaissance scans, they might give us a lead on the man himself.
These drop points, any ideas at all?
Emergency supplies, deliveries to the pirates. We just don't know.
These are the drop point locations. Contact me when you get the scans, and we'll find our man. Chiss honor.
You know, there's something I'm surprised more people haven't brought up. What the hell are we gonna do with the Chiss when it comes to the rewrite? Because there's a lot of malleability there. Tor is not canon within the AU, no. It is also not canon within the EU. It certainly borrows and references a lot of elements, but Tor really is its own continuity. And I'm not saying that in any kind of derogatory. Hell, I'm not even saying that as headcanon. The writers flat out approach it that way. Yeah, the TU. I like that. The Tor universe. Wait, where? We are never getting a KOTOR 3K. Until I take over the world. Then you'll get your KOTOR 3. And you'll hate it, but it's okay, because you'll have it. I do not want that person's job. Just laying down in the snow like that. That does not seem pleasant. I like that idea, Nero says, and it is one of the ideas I had. I also like a lot of other ideas with the Chiss. I don't know. Okay, let's do this then. That's the kind. Oh God. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna get the flight path up here, or the white war point. Excuse me. You know what? Fair, Dr. Winter. Don't worry, once Disney starts doing my bidding KOTOR, I mean K, you'll see a KOTOR that you'll hate. I'm sure you'd hate my idea of KOTOR 3. All, you know, plots and hidden enemies, working through Republic worlds, residential worlds, you know. Not Tatooine, not Hoth. Ironically, one of my original ideas was Corellia. It's just such an important core world, you know? It makes so much sense that the hidden Sith would actually be operating on Corellia. Casino World. I already have a headache, Nero says. That's Tauntaun. Not really, Spartan. I mean, okay, let me walk that back. I think the world building, in how it deals with the Force, the Jedi, the Republic, and the Sith, is actually brilliant. And honestly, frankly, my favorite interpretations of all of the above are from this game. So I suppose in that sense, yes. On the other side, Kuat does exist at this point. We actually did a dungeon over KDY, or you know what I mean, the ship manufactory. Which is impressive if you think about it. That means that shipyards has existed for 3,600 years. That's a long-standing company.
Sir, this is Enzon Temple. Looks like that cache is full of stolen Imperial equipment. Given how the pirates are guarding it, I'm guessing it's a gift from Admiral Davos to the White Moor.
Where does that leave us?
I advise continuing the recon. A little luck and we'll pin down which White Moor faction the Admiral's dealing with. If you can tag the caches for tracking, that wouldn't hurt either. Temple out.
Yeah, I know, right, Dr. Winter? I was blown away that it was actually decent. Okay, I gotta ask, what's a pizza pop? I was wondering where the option to steal that came
Tracking
from.
signal coming in.
No, I'd quite literally rather die, Trihexia. I'm not doing great, Nero says. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really hate to slow this down even more, but I'm thinking about bowing out after Hoth and just going and laying down for a bit. I'm at that heavily nauseous portion of a headache, or a migraine rather. Interesting. I don't think I've ever had one of those. It sounds good, though. Yeah, Hoth isn't exactly helping anything, but again, I'm just not doing great in general right now.
This is Hunter to Leggett. Hope you weren't getting lonely. I'm on planet, but signals don't carry here. Arden Koth authorized me to take your reins. Have you found the Star Breeze yet?
Admiral Davos has gone rogue. I can't get the Star Breeze until I track him down.
I hope you're not dragging your feet. Let's take out some insurance. Keyword, onomatophobia. Command, find the Star Breeze and contact me when you succeed.
Orders understood. I'll proceed with the mission.
Good. Master Koth thinks you work better without your programming. I'm not so soft. Hunter out.
Smart, arrogant, cautious. Don't underestimate him.
So yeah, that's Hunter in one sentence. Hi. Brainwash. Go do thing. Go away. You know what? We should. We should keep a counter. I don't have a fresh thing. Here. That does sound like a good idea, Yada. So we're up to 26 super weapons. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to run to this enemy here. Let's go ahead and reset it. See how many times Hunter uses the code word. It's not going to be that many, but it's definitely going to be way more than it needs to be. That is the first time.
Temple here. Like we thought, those caches are a gift from Admiral Davos to the Pirate Coalition. Specifically, he's paying off a group called the Marauders. Raiders and hijackers, influential with the other pirate gangs.
What do we know about their methods? Composition?
Sorry, still reviewing the file. Heavy weapons and frontal assaults, mixed species. I'm not going to read you what they do to their victims.
Thank
The
you.
Marauders have a camp nearby. Guard looks light at the moment. We're going to take a team in. Meet us there and we'll dig up some answers. Temple out.
So, while we roam up here, let's hit some questions. Let's clear up the question queue. Do I think Keeper would want the Emperor to keep clones? Not at all. If I could, so I'm going to share this question with the group. If you could have a single type of droid in real life, what would you pick? Tazara, real quick. I don't know if you're aware of it. You were compromised on Discord. You were spamming bot stuff all over the place. Just in case you're not familiar with that, FYI, we did ban you, obviously, to fix it. But I wanted to make sure you were on top of it. Don't apologize. This is informative. Okay, real talk. I don't know the specific type of droid. There's certain droids that would be cute or adorable or fun to have as a companion, but I'd pick something practical. I'd want a droid that could cook and, you know, clean. Stuff like that. Just kind of handle that kind of crap. Yeah, Tazara. We can get you an invite at some point. I mean, yeah, something like C-3PO, except actually designed for it instead of protocol. That's a good question, bloody gentleman. There's a lot of theories about that. So let me just answer you directly. We don't know. That's the truthful answer. My theory is that Watcher X isn't in our head at all. That he's not real, and he's not anything. Instead, I think that what Watcher X is within our head is part of our own compartmentalized brain. Since a lot of the thematic point of being the agent is that we have to deal with being multiple people at the same time, right? That we have to compartmentalize ourselves and think, I am this, now I am this, now I am this. I think Watcher X is how they demonstrate that from within ourselves, right? Now, that's just my take on that. That doesn't make that accurate. Because again, the answer is we don't know. It could be a copy of his actual personality in there. Some people have theorized it might actually be a Force-related thing. Because that's certainly feasible in a setting like this and circumstances like this. Some people think it's just us going completely bonkers. Nirazaz asks, have I ever had a fever so high I started to hallucinate? Kind of. I've never had traditional hallucinations. I've said this before. But I have hearing things hallucinations and vision hallucinations. What I mean by that is, like, I see motion even though there's nothing there. So, like, it looks like that wall is just moving even though it isn't. And I could tell, and I could stare at it, and it's triggering the movement sensor, if that makes any sense. Kill the chiss. Save the human for questioning.
Blast you! Stop! Look at me and stop.
Look at her. Everyone, stop.
That's right. Keep looking here. I'll keep talking, and you keep looking. Sir, if you're going to do anything, do it now.
So, every single member of our party is screwed up to some extent or another. It's just different types of screwed up. That could be, bloody gentleman. That's not a bad theory. And Temple's thing is...
Are you alright, Ensign?
I'm fine. Check on the others. Sir, I suppose you want an explanation.
What are you? Ensign? Jedi? Sith?
What I did back there, it was a force trick, sir. I'm just powerful enough to get into trouble. No lightning, no seeing the future, I never trained. If the Sith knew, they'd have me killed. That's why I left Imperial service for the Chiss Ascendancy.
Remember, the Sith Empire has extremely strict rules on how they deal with anyone with force sensitivity. You join, at which point you're pushed through the mulcher, or you are executed summarily. And there are no exceptions to this. No allowed exceptions.
If the Sith knew, you could become one of them.
Only if I survived the Sith Academy. And I wouldn't. Please, it's your prerogative to pursue this, of course. But let's finish the job first.
Put some faith in me and this might turn out all right.
Getting a call from Zero Station. They finished analyzing the pirate data.
Agent, Ensign Temple, you do the Defense Force proud. It seems Admiral Davos has been trying to arrange safe passage through pirate territory to the Starship Graveyard. The pirates have agreed to meet, today.
Is that spark in your eye for me, or the operation?
Any new endeavor makes the blood run swift. The meet is in the primary Marauder base, heavily fortified. Attack head-on, and the attendees slip away. However, a cave system runs under the base, moves softer than a shadow, and you could tap the cave wall.
You're sending her to the bone pits.
The caves are inhabited by animal life and resemble a slaughterhouse. But it's the perfect place from which to observe the meeting.
Sounds dangerous, but I'm willing to take a risk.
Once you're in place, you can use a laser drill and microcord camera to tap the wall.
My team will be in touch from Zero Station. Good luck to you.
We need to move out, but be careful in the monster's den.
Well, that's singularly unhelpful. To answer you, Spartan, the Chiss don't really show up or have any relevance until after the Thrawn duology, which is the end of the major plot arc of Star Wars, and when they start the new plot arc. Whoops. They show up later, though. Who would I put on the writing team for KOTOR 3? Me and the entire writers team. The writers room. Would the Emperor still have that stupid name? I wouldn't have there be an Emperor. So you asked what are my thoughts on Grom Hellscream. You know why I like Grom Hellscream as a character? Because he's not a good person who wants to be. I know that sounds like a strange thing to, like as a character, but I mean that. He's not a hero, he's not a savior, he's not good, he's not kind, but he wants to be. He has decided at some point in his life that he can and should be better than he is, and he has been making regular efforts in order to endeavor to that. And, I don't know, I think that's kind of admirable in its own right. Especially since most people don't even bother to try. Grom is ultimately, in many ways, selfish, but he is still trying. Yeah, exactly, Yada. There's something respectable about that. Yeah, his sacrifice in the end was heroic. It was even done for the right reason, if we're being honest with ourselves. Very appropriate music.
Where is Admiral Davos? I did not invite servants.
I act in the Admiral's name. I'll show you.
Getting audio only. Can you see anything?
That's Captain Firth, one of the Admiral's men. I don't know the pirate.
Franklin, could you re-invite Tazara, please?
Ashok the Unyielding, I am honored by your invitation. I am Admiral Davos, and I fought in the Battle of Hoth. Unlike my peers, I was left to the icy wastes. For 6 months I wandered the wreckage. As I lost my vitality, I found many items of great value. Weapons, artifacts, even a Republic shuttle full of secrets. I hid them in the starship graveyard so that I might one day claim my prize.
Today's that day. Give us safe passage into the starship graveyard, and we'll all leave rich.
You may want to cut your observations short.
Is there a problem?
The locals don't appreciate us using their cave.
Tell you what, the hot tea is helping. Well, I made a couple, I was up.
Situation under control. What happened with the meeting?
They cut a deal, sir. The pirates are going to escort Admiral Davos to his treasure, but they outlined their route. I think we know where they're heading.
See you around, bloody gentlemen. Have a good one. And yes, it is Kate. Thank you for noticing.
That Republic shuttle he talked about. Did it come up again?
Just the part about it being full of secrets. I think the Admiral likes playing games. The aristocrat and I can meet you at the edge of the starship graveyard. There's an Imperial outpost there. Zaganu can fill you in. He likes you, by the way. And we can plan a final approach. Temple out.
Let's see. It's Balmora after Hoth, right? Am I remembering correctly? No, Belsavis should be after any of those. Wait, are we already up to Belsavis? Wow. I'm sorry, it's taking a lot of my concentration to do my job. You know what I mean, right? You've got so many different processes running in your brain. So when you're low, like you have a headache, you've only really putting attention on a couple of them. Hey, DeQuack. So Neraz asks, are there any Sith you would willingly follow? There are some decent Sith out there, really. But honestly, I'd still probably lean towards no on that. Yeah, like Mar was my very first thought. Valron would be up there too. The most different era of Star Wars? Honestly, probably the High Republic era. Either that or the post-Thong.
We'd be buried alive by the third marker. Bring up the northern passage. Let me see.
She's here, sir.
I'm aware of that. Resume planning. Glad to see you, Agent. Thanks to your surveillance, we have a lock on Admiral Davos' destination. He and his men are being escorted to a crashed Republic super dreadnought in the heart of the starship graveyard. His horde is there.
By the time he arrives, all that's left will be ice.
If only it were that simple. The horde is sealed in the tertiary launch bay, protected by an army of White Moor pirates.
Sorry I'm late. Did I miss the bad news?
There's no other kind.
Lovely. Go on.
This isn't a one-squad operation. The Defense Force will join you for the assault.
Zara, if you're there, I need you to actually look at chat for a minute, please.
My priority is a Republic shuttle, part of the Admiral's horde. Everything else is secondary.
While the Chiss Ascendancy believes Admiral Davos is a threat, our goals are not incompatible. I suggest a two-pronged approach. You slip past the pirates on the Super Dreadnought and deactivate the blast doors.
That'll let my team in. We can rendezvous at the launch bay. We'll be your backup.
together against 1,000 pirates and Imperial traitors. It'll be memorable.
Something to tell your grandchildren, once it's declassified.
Dismissed, all of you. It's time to move.
Good luck, sir. I'll see you at the Dreadnought.
One last thing. You've done us proud. The Ascendancy needs more like you in the Empire. But more than that, you embody the Red Flame. Our courage, our cunning, and our discipline. You are a remarkable woman.
We can flirt here. We're not going to.
It's an honor to work with you.
I'm only an aristocrat. You are a soldier. My forces will be waiting for you to open the Dreadnought doors. Good hunting.
Yeah, temples never made much of an impact on me in any direction. Let's see what we think of it this time around. Sean asks a fun question. Was Mace Windu one bad day away from becoming a Dark Jedi? What do y'all think? I should probably mention I don't have a particularly high opinion of Mace. Oh, he's a great duelist, don't mistake me, but he's kind of a dick. Ditto, Orcano. I even gave this game a negative for that exact thing. Hey, Evo. Now, this is as usual just my personal interpretation, but I actually like Mike Romano's take. I like the idea that he is effectively a Dark Jedi who just keeps control of himself. Now, I don't mean that he's evil, per se, or that he's fallen, even. What I mean is that he's the Hulk. Now, if I need to explain that, the Hulk is, ironically, all about self-control. It is, you know, obviously there's the whole thing of Hulk smash and blah, 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 blah. But the whole point is that the Hulk and Banner keep Hulk under a fairly tight control the overwhelming majority of the time. Nowhere is this more exemplified in the film Avengers, you know, the first Avengers film for the MCU. One of the things that I will always grant that film is, as much as people look at it as some big actiony schlock, it had a lot of little details that implied real characterization in very quick and efficient manners. The fact that he was able to actually shout and yell and get angry without actually losing his control at all, not even a hint, says a lot about how well he was able to keep himself under wraps. And just how long and painful his transformation was when he finally turns into the Hulk helps to indicate how much he's fighting it and how much of a self-discipline he has over that. And, Blue F. Alex brings up a perfectly good point. Hulk still keeps himself relatively reined in until he is given straight-up permission to smash. Then he finally starts unleashing. So, yeah, no. I like to think of Mace Windu in a similar manner. Except, obviously, in Windu's case, instead of the Hulk, it's the dark side. I'll probably have to kill these. Die. Closest thing to Sith in Star Trek? I'm not sure there is such a thing. The self-destructive, you know, pseudo-Darwinian kind of thing is actually fairly common in fiction. Drow come to mind immediately. I'm not sure there really is a Trek equivalent. See, even the paw wraiths don't implement anything that the Sith exonify other than, you know, mwahaha. And that's not really a Sith thing. I agree, by the way, Mike Tomato. It's total... I love the idea of shatter points, and I absolutely want to keep that concept in the Wars rewrite. Yeah, you know what? I could see the Sith... Wow. The Romulan Star Empire at certain points in history being like that.
Free following. Blasters and flame projectors.
All right, keep them at a distance. Sir, enemies in pursuit. More expected. Bit of a nightmare, but we'll hold them off.
What's the situation?
Admiral Davos and his horde should be down that corridor somewhere. Quite possibly with his escort.
11, 12 more. Marauders and Scourge.
Oh, no question, Chithron. No question. Mace is extremely aware of how close to the dark side he is.
Is holding our escape route outside. We'll keep the pirates off your back. Do what you came to do.
I don't think we do, Ross, unfortunately. Admiral.
It's still here. Still waiting for us.
Admiral, intruder!
Target her, but do not fire. The Cypher agent lives. I wondered what became of you.
You've caused a lot of trouble for a man I didn't come here to kill.
I waited years to return to Hoth and reclaim my retirement funds. My superiors were never to know.
We should take her now.
Silence. You complicated matters. Forced us to part ways with the Empire. But this can be mended. Tell me what you desire.
You're scum.
No talking. It's time to die. Codename Legate to Hunter. I have located the Starbreeze.
You look like hell. Fiery as always. Get that shuttle running and rendezvous at these coordinates. Hunter, out.
Oh wow, he didn't use his command phrase.
Sir, pirates are down, but I'm the only one left. We need to get moving.
I have 2 questions in the queue, but I thought I actually technically already answered both of them. Ah, no, I actually have 3, Evo.
Have you been injured?
Scratches, sir. Deep scratches. Force trick saved my life.
If we're in any hurry, I don't think we can get this thing off the ground without help.
We'll discuss this later. Get inside the Starbreeze now.
Understood, sir.
And thus she joins our party. Blandy McBlandface. Her story arc is that she's a Force sensitive, hiding from the Sith amongst the Chiss. No, Damashi, you asked about Nihilus. You said, considering that Nihilus is a dark side apparition bound to his armor, do I think the Inquisitor could use Force Walk on him? No. The problems are twofold. First of all, I don't think it's quite that simple of a relationship, and second, and arguably worse, I'm pretty sure that Nihilus would just eat the Inquisitor the moment the Inquisitor tried.
Nice landing. Let's take a look. Solid body, not a scratch on her. And she came with my shuttle? What's her name?
Ensign Raina Temple, sir. Chiss Expansionary Defense Force.
Of course. Minder 17, Imperial Intelligence. Excellent work, both of you.
I couldn't have done any of this without her.
High praise. Maybe she deserves a promotion. I'll fly the shuttle to its final destination. You can take my ride home. Ensign, why don't you go run a systems check?
I need a minute with the agent.
I'll chisel the ice off the pilot seat for you.
Arden Koth will be happy. But the girl, we agree she needs to die, right?
Why do you say that?
She's Imperial. She knows about the Starbreeze. She's seen me. She's seen you. Look, you've worked with her. You've bonded with her. Fine. I'm not heartless. Maybe she'll even be useful. You want her to live? You take responsibility. Stash her on your ship. She doesn't talk to anyone. Doesn't learn about the SIS.
I guarantee she won't be a problem.
Just to be sure, though, I'm putting a command in your brain. Keyword, onomatophobia. If Reyna Temple becomes a threat to our mission or leaves your supervision, you will kill her. You won't have a choice.
Twice on one planet.
Sorry, I didn't meet your friend. I must have taken a wrong turn.
Sir, Minder 17 told me about the transfer. I'm a little surprised. If intelligence wants me out of the GIS Defense Force, though, I won't argue. Nice as it would have been to pack an overnight bag.
You'll fit right in, Ensign. You shouldn't worry.
Don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic opportunity. My father would love this. But if I can ask, why do you want me here?
To save your life.
What can I say? I could use a decent partner.
I'm sure that's true, but if you won't tell me the full reason, just say so.
Dr. Eckhard Loken. We should swap stories about your father.
You know my father?
Oh, forgive me, Cypher. I'm afraid the cold's starting to get to me. I'll meet you both back on the ship.
God, I hate... Loken is fantastic. Extremely evil. Just so evil. But fantastic.
You'll be alright.
No, but thank you for asking, Yubo. You want the really scary thought? I have extremely high pain tolerance. What was the other question, Damashi? I'm sorry, because I don't have another one in the... Oh, hang on, never mind. I do actually have another question for you. I didn't even see this one. Assuming the true Sith would have been featured in KOTOR 3 were borderline eldritch creatures, similar to Scion and Nihilus, how would I portray the other 5? That is a good question. Remind me what the deadly sins are, because I could never remember them. I know what I do with lust, though. And I realize I'm basically borrowing from Mass Effect 2, but I don't care. I'd have the Lust Sith be someone who is capable of literally body hopping regularly, and that's their shtick. And they're not picky. They're not particular about anything. They just constantly have to body hop because of how quickly and how fast they're burning through their host bodies. Yeah, I like that. That's what I do with Lust. Okay, so that's Lust. And then we've already got Wrath and Gluttony. So we would need to do Pride, Sloth, Envy, and Greed. So Pride... First of all, Pride would be a Jedi. First thing. Yeah, good looking, Jedi Master, probably not the head of the Order, but probably one of the most venerated members of the Order. Someone who is renowned for their heroics, who has saved fleets and systems, and has been, like, the person who negotiated the treaty of such and such, or the one who talked down the civil war of yada yada, right? And that's Pride, and their whole shtick, the entirety of their power, is all mental. They are force persuade spect, right? And that's pride. And yeah, they are a full tilt glory hound. And they don't even like... Yeah, sorry, Yada. I meant to tell you about it, but you never had a civil war. Anyways. And yeah, I would almost assuredly put Pride last, but that's me being biased because the Shah of Pride is one of the most fascinating villains in Pandaria. But anyways. Yeah, exactly, Trithon. You get it. You get it. So that's Pride. Let's go ahead and do Envy, because I agree Envy would probably be a Jedi too. Envy's a leech. So we've got Endurance, that's Scion. We've got Absorption, that's Nihilus. We've got Pride, which is Force Persuade. We've got the Body Hopping. Each one of them has to have a specialization, right? Because this is still a video game we're making. And then we got the Body Hopping. Envy would be a leech. They literally absorb happiness or good feelings or literally just like energy and life sustenance and whatever from those around them. And they can actually, probably just like innately, there's just like this constant innate pull, just kind of draining, like similar to a Dementor. That's a good comparison. And then if they really focus it, then they can really just drain someone dry in a few moments. And that's Envy. And yeah, they're like, maybe not even a Jedi Knight. Maybe they're just a Padawan. But they just kind of drag everyone around them down without anybody ever really noticing. After all, they're just a Padawan. So nobody really pays them that much mind or attention. And they hate it, of course. But they're good at constantly bringing everyone around them lower, down to their level. So then we need Greed, Sloth, and I think that's it. Yeah, the Eternal Padawan, exactly. So... Alright. Greed is a very particular Sith. They're not quite a wound in the Force like Nihilus was, but they're close. Greed's thing is they are essentially like a Zalamiri. Wherever they are, there's just this kind of hole in the Force that doesn't exist, and so you can't use the Force around them. And they have some degree of control over how this sphere of pushing back against the Force exists. And so they can push this out a little bit periodically, or really concentrate and really expand it into like a huge sphere, like covering an entire space battle, for example. And that's their shtick. Yeah, like a null magic field or whatever. And then that leaves, what does that leave? Sloth. Sloth is the reasonable one. Sloth doesn't have any special Force powers. In fact, I like the idea that Sloth doesn't even have Force abilities at all. Sloth is someone who treats people nicely and takes care of their people and has a tremendous wealth of resources and is extremely wealthy and does everything in their power to make sure that the people around them are nice and content. Now, if you don't understand this, I don't want to get too much in real life, but the idea here is that people are more likely to revolt or disagree with leadership or whatever the more unhappy they are. But the more you do to give them creature comforts, day-to-day things that make their lives more interesting or more comfortable or more enjoyable or more fulfilling, the less likely they are to go and push back against any of this. This is actually something we've covered in a few works of fiction, too, where the Garlean Empire is a perfect example of this. The Garleans took care of their own so that they would stay loyal. They made sure they lived prosperous, happy, fulfilling lives. So none of the Garlean people really questioned the fact that they worked for a horrific despair engine of an empire. That's sloth right there. And I think that's all of them.
This is Leggett to Base Command. Mission complete.
Base Command here. Hunter gave me his report. He spoke highly of you. Not a lot of people earn his praise.
How did he come to join the SIS?
Used to do corporate security, if you can believe it. Recruited him a few years back. I'm grateful the Starbreeze is in one piece. She'll help us win this war. Now, Hoth and Terrace makes two. Ready for the final stage?
You still haven't told me what this is about. You sent me after a Republic shuttle and a science project.
All for good reason, I promise. Maybe you've heard of it. A death trap of a planet called Quesh. Our primary objective's there. I want you en route.
Can you be more specific than death trap?
It's a mining world. Our forces are fighting the Empire for chemical deposits. But you're after something else entirely. Get to these coordinates when you arrive and we'll be in touch. Base Command out.
Is this the Quesh visit I was thinking the last one was? I know my head's not quite where it should be right now.
Agent, I hope this recorded message finds you well. This is Aristocrat Saganu of the Chiss Expansionary Defense Force. I never got the chance to see you off Hoth. Understandable, things were hectic. But you represent the future of the Chiss Ascendancy, and that will not go unrecognized. I pronounce you Merit Adoptive of House Miorani, my house. It is the least I can do to honor you. Fight well, my friend. Saganu out.
That goes differently if you romance him, by the way. So hang on. Now let's get the playlist I had ready for last time.
Begin encrypted message. This is Keeper to Cipher 9. We don't have long before Republic intercept, but I wanted to hear from you. Status report, please.
I'm going to take the option intelligence has brainwashed me.
Everything's fine, Keeper. Situation normal.
Is that right? I'm getting disturbing reports about your activities. Loss of Imperial life on Hoth and some sort of incident at headquarters. Cipher, I need to know if the stress is getting to you.
What does my state of mind matter? I can't pull out now, can I?
No, but I need to understand all the same. Your job is to learn what the SAS is after. Then, and only then, you must kill Arden Koth. Don't lose sight of those goals. Keep it out.
Patience. The serum is working. Play the game until you're free.
By the way, what question did you have outstanding, Eva? Because like I said, I got 3 from you.
Same color, of course.
Oh yeah, Mr. Red asked an interesting question. When we review WoW, when would I want to review it? There are 2 answers to that, and I'm actually going to ask you all. Because it is either immediately prior to Dragonflight, or immediately after Dragonflight goes live. Now you might wonder, what's the difference? Well, there's actually several, but the biggest one by far is talents. Dragonflight is changing systems in the game. That means that we're going to have... It's going to change the score. It's going to change the review. Even if we don't actually review Dragonflight, the acclimation patch is going to fundamentally alter how the review goes. So, we need to decide when we're doing that. Unfortunately, I don't think we actually have a release window for Dragonflight right now. But if we're going to do it before, we're probably going to start it pretty soon. Death! Death! Oh, God. Wait. I made it! I'm grabbing the wall. Yes! Okay, we're okay. More like 4 huge MMOs in the same year, Cubic. That's kind of what I was thinking too, Blue Wolf Alex. Especially since it is changing so many things under the hood, too. Oh, I'm not going to go right into WoW. Don't be ridiculous. I'm not that crazy. I didn't go right into WoW after FF14. I'm not going to go right into WoW after 4.
At your service, sir. Travel route is confirmed.
But yeah, my instinct is to do it after. The irony is we would then be reviewing WoW without reviewing Dragonflight right as Dragonflight goes live. Yes, tone and themes. Let me scroll up a little bit here. Do I account for tone and themes when adding or axing to storytelling? Yes and no, Cubic. Being honest, I don't think I ever have, Evo. Like, my knee-jerk answer is yes, but at no point in time do I think I've ever axed something or added something specifically because of tone or themes. Although I do keep staring at a few things I've been debating changing for a while. I even re-reviewed whether or not Earth should exist in my setting at all, just last night. I decided that I am correct and I made the right call, but I still wanted to re-review the logic that goes into it. But yeah, you can probably guess the main reason I tend to add or axe things. Actually, can you? I'm curious, because there's 2 big reasons. But yes, to answer in summary, we'll be doing every raid in WoW, up to and including Taurus on Legion. After that, a little more in the air. It's back into that whole possible, practical, possible, feasible, and then reasonable argument.
This is codename Legate. I'm in position, awaiting orders.
Legate, nice to see you outside Hoth. A little color in the air brings out your eyes.
Hey, Gemino. It was a very interesting game, Gemino, regardless of some problems it had.
I look forward to the day I don't have to tolerate your leering.
You make it sound like it bothers you. Hunter to deck. Report in.
Codename Saber in position. Good to see you, Legate.
Codename Wheel ready for operations. And I'll be in position shortly. It's good to see you together as a team. Too many solo jobs nowadays. But now we're together for the most important job we've ever done. We're here for a weapon. One that can stop this war. Over a decade ago, Colonel Omas of the Republic Special Forces assembled a team of the galaxy's greatest scientists. The scientists, led by Nason Godera, were instructed to design a weapon capable of turning back the Imperial threat. A shadow arsenal of missiles cloaked from detection and more powerful than any made before.
Colonel Omas died at the Battle of Hoth. Nason Godera moved on to other things. Everyone assumed the shadow arsenal was never completed. But it was. Nason Godera built the shadow arsenal on Quesh, then concealed it in a fit of conscience.
A man doesn't build an arsenal without knowing what it'll be used for.
Without the Colonel to lead them, the scientists decided the weapon was too destructive. Godera called it catastrophic. He wiped all records.
That's why you've all been running around the galaxy. The ultrawave transmitter had Nason Godera's weapon activation codes. Colonel Omas's shuttle, the Starbreeze, led us to this star system.
And the assault on Mangaza? Wheel and I...
Gave us one more key. There are 200 missiles in the Shadow Arsenal. Only takes one to destroy Hoth City. Threat alone should make the Sith surrender.
This is absolutely a super weapon, by the way. It's actually one of the more terrifying ones, especially because it is so believable. It's just a cloaked missile. It's the exact same reason why they were a threat in Metal Gear Solid 1. A stealth nuke.
Your plan won't work. Destroy Hoth City, destroy the Korriban Academy. They'll only want revenge.
Then we'll have to fight. The missiles are still inside the old manufacturing complex. 2 square kilometers of factories and tunnels.
Sealed up but still intact. The scientists couldn't bear to destroy their work, so they built defenses 50 years ahead of Republic standard.
We're going to secure the facility. I'll bring in the shuttle and locate the Shadow Arsenal.
Saber, take out the main batteries. Wheel, see what you can do with the main computer. Affirmative. Leggett, you'll penetrate the structure at these coordinates, bypass the droids and lower the facility shields so our shuttle can land.
Just stay in contact. You'll know when it's done.
May the Force be with us, my friends. Ending link up.
And Leggett, in case you had any doubts, keyword, onomatophobia. You will lower the shields, and the Shadow Arsenal will be ours.
Oh, I agree, Blow-Off Alex. Absolutely. The very idea of a stealth nuke is terrifying.
These droids are nasty. Can we take some of them home along with the missiles?
Mr. Saber, you're going to make me feel unwanted.
Watch the banner. But it's not a bad idea.
Thank God for stealth.
No choice. Deactivated.
Yes, Sean. You do it in private, though.
This is Leggett. Shields are down. The shuttle is clear to land.
And Saber did her part. We'll have the Shadow Arsenal on board and headed for Republic space within the hour. You're going to hold position here. Protect the controls until we're gone.
Do you have a rendezvous in mind?
Leggett, this is goodbye for now. Go back to Imperial Intelligence. Shore up your contacts. We'll be in touch in a few months.
They don't need you anymore.
Hold position. Keyword, onomatophobia. And thank you.
They're going to win. Now we're out of time.
The serum was supposed to break my programming.
The IX serum has been eating at you since you injected it, carving neural pathways, bleaching your brain. It isn't finished, but it'll have to suffice. We're going to rewrite your programming. New commands, new keyword, no outside control. Are you ready?
One last time.
Let's do it.
Fesh Protocol, Phase 1. New keyword.
Iconoclasm.
Keyword accepted. Fesh protocol engaged.
Now you have access. You can force your mind and body to obey a new program. Tell me what you want.
No more programming. No more outside control.
Reject command interface. Accept no further orders.
Command interface closed.
Revert to Phase 0. You're free now. Time for me to go. But stop the SIS. Find out how they obtained Imperial brainwashing codes. There are truths you need to know.
Sir? What's going on? Can you hear me?
Did you catch that? We talked about this before. We have our out. We rewire ourselves to prevent excess rewiring. No further commands, no further control. Iconoclasm. I love that, by the way. But then, there's one other little tidbit that I love about it. This whole time we have been so focused on fixing it because it's been such a present and irritant that they constantly are using this watchword to control us. But we never really thought about how did they get the codes? We know Keeper authorized the Dark Council. The Dark Council did this to us. They're the most responsible for all this. They were upset that a mere agent was able to threaten a Sith. So, that's unacceptable. So they forced this upon us. How did those codes get over here?
I'm better than I've been in a long time. Just follow my lead.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you looked different. Let's go.
Yeah, not only do they have to know that they did that reprogramming to us, they need to know, I'm sorry, there's so many layers to this. They need to know that the programming exists at all. They need to know that they did it to us, and they need to know what the command code is for us, because it's not like there's a universal command. When the serum takes place, that's when a command is implanted. That's when a control code is implanted. That's a lot of interesting question marks that don't have an explanation right now. Where the hell did they get that? So, now we get to make some choices. It's so true, okay? As is so often, the Sith themselves proved their own weakness by the fact that they had to use this command code, this brainwashing program, and in so doing acknowledge how terrified they were of us. And if you've been paying attention, our choice gameplay has actually gone down for the almost the entirety of Act 2, with only like 2 exceptions. But that's been incredibly in character, because we literally have had no choice this entire time. We have literally not been able to make choices. The game has gone out of its way to show us dialogue options that all lead to the exact same response.
Minor damage to left tertiary servo motor. Functions are not impaired.
For a droid, you're a bad liar. Come on.
Multiple life forms approaching.
Leggett? I thought you were supposed to be at the shield controls.
She never used the code on me.
Turns out our leader needed reinforcements.
Has unexpected opposition been encountered?
Comms have been spotty since we got inside, but I didn't hear anything.
Arden needs me in there, not sitting on the sidelines. You and I both know that.
Huh. He likes to play cautious when it comes to his people. Can't stand to see anyone hurt. Wheel, toss our friends some supplies.
We retrieved these from a storage unit. They may prove useful.
Get moving. Master Hoth thinks we can end the war. Let's end the war.
You'll be all right.
And yeah, I almost never... In fact, I don't think I've ever killed her. I've only seen her killed once by someone who was trying to max out Darkseid just to see what they could do with it. Arden?
Blasted machine. Locking mechanisms disengaged.
Leggett,
I thought I felt you. You're supposed to be back at the Shields. I see. You're free, aren't you?
You used Imperial programming inside my mind. Where did you learn about it?
That hardly matters now. What I did to you was unforgivable. But I did it anyway. An Imperial intelligence defector, just when I needed one. I couldn't risk it being a lie.
We could have worked together. You never even gave me a chance.
Wouldn't then, can't now. You've shown me your true face. Let me show you mine. Before Arden Koth, the SIS chief, there was a better man. A Jedi Knight who couldn't live up to the code. That Jedi can't live in a world of shadows. But maybe he can still save the galaxy.
I thought I saw it in you. You never did much to hide it.
No. Call it my secret pride.
And this is why he absolutely gets a positive. Probably two. Arden is an interesting example of someone who... I was talking about Grom Hellscream earlier. Grom was a bad person who wanted to be a good person. Arden is a bad person who tries to justify how bad of a person he is by twisting it to make it look like he's a good person. But notice the distinction there. Arden is not a good man. And in his heart, I think he knows that. But the best part about Arden is that he hates himself for it. We saw this in the very first scene where we saw him. He regrets what he does, and he says, I have to do this, I have to do this. And it's always his excuse. It's always the thing he throws out on there on the table saying, this is what I have to do. But he never even tries it any other way. Now, obviously we're getting a little bit into interpretation here, but my point is, in my opinion, Arden is much more of a Justice Lord than a Cisco. He is someone who constantly hits that line of, we must do this, we must do this, we must do this, we must do this. And as Kira White Noise says, he knows he is like that, and he hates it about himself. But he keeps doing it anyways, because that's who he is.
You fight good, Cypher. I don't expect mercy. The Shadow Arsenal was my chance to stop the war, and I failed.
Now that being said, do you think Arden could be a good man? Ironically, I also think he could be a good man.
Turn away, Arden. I'm not going to kill you.
No, you're not. But why, after all we've been through?
We've all committed terrible acts. That doesn't mean we should die for them.
For what it's worth, I hope we don't have to meet again. May the Force be with you, my friend.
Think about this, Arden.
I don't think I understood any of that, sir, but I'll trust your judgment.
Yeah, that's because you're accidentally in my party. I didn't mean to have you in my party for this cutscene.
Our enemies may be gone, but we can't leave the Shadow Arsenal in place.
I can see if I can contact Crash Command, if you like.
Cypher. Imperial again, huh? And no more programming. That is a surprise. I was finished with Arden, but I had plans for you. We could have wandered the galaxy together. Me as the captain, you as my servant.
Thought of traveling with you makes my skin crawl.
No time for flirting now. Big changes are coming. Imperial intelligence and the SIS. History will forget them, and it'll forget you. I just tipped off a squadron of Imperial bombers. That facility is about to be wiped out.
What's this about? Whose side are you on?
I'm on the winning side. Goodbye, Cypher. When the bombs rain down, the Shadow Arsenal will make a spectacular crater.
I have seen to the end of Vanilla, Nero says. if that is what you mean. So, we had to deal with the Eagle, who was actually just Jadis in Act 1. We had to deal with Arden Koth in Act 2. But if you've been paying attention, we have already met and have now seen a face for our real rival. In this case, it's taking the face of Hunter. Now, let me line up this so I don't run into any enemies. Thank you, Indiana Joe. I do always appreciate. Thank you. If you want to put that towards something, do please let me know. Now, I have thoughts about Hunter, but I want to save them until much later. Until tomorrow, to be more clear. But yeah, he is very much designed to be an unlikable prick from word go. Hate Sink is the type of character. Is he a Krennic? No. No, he is not. It actually is very, very simple, Evo. It's whether or not the thing that is staying or going serves a narrative purpose. A good narrative purpose, obviously. That's it. That's reason number one.
I'm honored to serve such a person.
Reloaded and I had a long discussion when we first started the rewrite project, the Trek rewrite project, about a year ago. And that discussion was a lot about, you know, writing philosophy and mentality and all that fun stuff. One of the big things, though, as I said, at the end of the day, what I care about more than anything else is a good story. And I meant it. You got it, you got it, Shadowlands. You got it, Indiana Joe. Thank you again.
This is Keeper to Cipher 9. Emergency transmission, please respond. I have reports of a level 5 annihilation wave on Quesh, triggered by an Imperial bombing run. An SIS team was the target. Are you all right?
I nearly died. Not because of the Republic, but because of Imperial incompetence and Imperial treachery. Arden Koth and his weapon have been neutralized. That's the only thing that went right with your assignment.
You've raised your voice and your pulse rate has increased. You're clearly upset.
Really?
You're describing a victory for the Empire. You saved countless lives, accelerated our timetable for conquest. Take pride in that. The rest we can resolve later.
I appreciate the situation, but if we're going to work together, there are things I need to know.
Then we should talk. Take a day or two. Remember who you are while there's still a quiet place in the galaxy. By the time you're recovered and back at headquarters, we'll be ready to march on Coruscant.
Yeah. It's funny, really. Frickin' Jadis. So yeah, I'm giving Arden Koth 2 positives. He's a great character. I'm actually the same way, Below Alex. I actually have a list of just nopes. No, tomorrow, don't forget, we have to do Ilum twice, Jay Palmer, so that's going to slog us down a bit. Let's go ahead and... Yeah. So let's switch down to some Zerg music. Let's take a bit of a mental breather here. That's not Zerg music. Oh, it is. Never mind. Okay, whatever.
Agent, we've had time to think since reuniting the Killik colony. Not that our work hasn't kept us busy, but we didn't actually thank you for allowing our pilgrimage. You should come with us next time.
no.
I've got enough Killiks in my life without searching for more.
All you've been through, and you're still bothered by insects.
No, I'm just bothered by you, dude.
In any case, we should get back to work. We promised Kalia we'd keep the hatchlings away from her quarters, which means some training is in order.
Leo hasn't said much about you. Everything going all right?
After some early missteps, we're learning to tolerate one another. We no longer invite her to the Jarrick games. She no longer spits in our tea. Give us a few months. We've negotiated with worse.
How are things, Vector?
Agent, when we communed with the other nests, we saw a force for change in the galaxy. There are Killiks as large as starships and as small as mites. Joiners from 100 species on 1,000 worlds. We mean
Reminder, the Killiks are an interstellar threat.
The diplomatic service.
The colony's been in hiding for a long time, and the Killiks may not appreciate it.
We've shared thoughts with Daizana of the Lacey Nest, and we've assessed the limits of their cooperation. If the service can make entreaties to the colony, if we make them an ally, we'll have a foothold in the unknown regions. We'd have access to Killik craftsmanship, joiner information. Even without their military support, they would be invaluable.
I agree. But why bother with the diplomatic service, when we could pull the strings ourselves?
An alliance built on manipulations can't last. We've done so before, and seen the consequences. This needs to happen with the backing of those in power. And it needs to happen before someone else finds the colony.
However I can assist, say the word.
We'd ask you to sign off on the report. Other than that, we'll keep your offer in mind. Thank you. Agent, we heard back from the diplomatic service about our proposed alliance with the Killik colony. Our report was soundly ignored. It seems we have less credibility than we thought.
You worked for them for years, and this is what you get.
We are twice compromised, no longer human, and no longer a diplomat. A colleague named Fulner Eth sent the update on our report along with a message. He wants us to call him, accompanied by our handler. We believe he means you.
Whoever this man is, he's trying to pull something.
Quite possibly. But we'd like to know what. Shall we?
Master Hillis, I'm so glad you got my message. How are you? How's Anya?
Anora. We haven't seen her in some time, but we hear she's well. And your son?
I'm stationed on Balmora, still hoping to join the Shadow Fist. And you must be Cipher 9. It's my privilege to meet you. Rest assured, I went through channels to arrange this. Imperial Intelligence has agreed to loan me Vector so long as you're amenable.
Vector contacted you about a Killik alliance. Why would you need him?
My superiors don't see the wisdom in Vector's advice. I do. Yet I lack the authority to force the issue.
Someone is blocking you?
Tarab, Sabini, the usual crew. If I'm to win them over, I need influence. Vector, with your ties from the service and the colony's knowledge, I could amass a string of victories. And the more I succeed through your consultations, the better chance your Killik Imperial Alliance comes to pass.
Done.
We'll help your career, and you work for us.
As you say. I'll be in touch with specifics.
We appreciate your help, Agent. We'll make it worthwhile, to you, to the Empire, and to the colony.
Let's see, what's the most boring music I can think of? A favorite RPG series? Final Fantasy. I like a lot of RPG series, but that probably sits on the top, and it sits on the top for a reason. TNG wallpaper music. Unfortunately, I'd be copywronged into oblivion for that, but that would be a very good Good answer for that. How about, I suppose I'll mention the Dragon Quests, the Dragon Ages, the Mass Effects, and pretty much anything BioWare. We'll also go with, let's see. There's a lot. Yeah, the Trails series and the Tales of are both otherwise good franchises. I would probably put Trails above Tales, like pretty big gap in quality, but they're still both, you know, net positive, I would say. Even Tales of Arise was net positive in that game. Whew.
I rather like your ship. Not exactly military, but it'll be nice not sleeping in a thermosuit. Once we're underway, you'll bring me up to speed on my duties, sir. Show me the tricks of undercover work.
You're embarking on a new career. No nostalgia for your old life?
None, sir. If I'm here, I intend to commit myself. I probably ought not to bring this up, but there is the matter of my talents. If I'm operating in the Empire, there's the chance the Sith will find out what I can do. They wouldn't be pleased.
As part of my crew, you have my protection.
Understood, sir. In the meantime, I intend to make myself irreplaceable.
I don't have boring music, because if it was boring, I wouldn't have it. I can't think of a theme song for Temple.
You said you wanted to talk?
Yes, sir. Ensign Raina Temple, formerly of the Chiss Expansionary Defense Force, reporting for combat drills.
I can show you a few things. What brings this on?
Frankly, I need the practice. No one ever taught me covert maneuvers. If you've got time...
Hang on. I have an idea. Hang on. Give me a minute. The Jeopardy theme. That would also be copy-wronged. Well, if you say the word lordom, Kay, what I first think of is my kingdom. Except it's a lordom instead of a kingdom. You know, the domain of a king, domain of a lord. You get the idea.
Grab your equipment. I'll find a private spot.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, they're kind of similar, honestly, Dr. Winter, which is probably part of the problem.
All right. I think I've sweat enough for one day. Any last words of wisdom for your freshly transferred ensign?
Never let anything distract you. No one can compensate for your errors.
I'm confident it isn't so dire, but I take your point. You know, my father used to come home from exercises freshly scarred. I was 12 before I realized his training drills were intelligence operations. He was captured twice, but he wouldn't let me worry, no matter how bad it got.
I didn't know your father was part of intelligence.
I thought I'd mentioned it. He was a cipher. Thank you for the lesson. A few more and I'll be infiltrating enemy camps with the best of them.
We're going to find out, Dr. Winter, because, yeah, she is definitely potential negative territory, which is good. Because if she is, she will be the first negative story point we've given this entire arc. I should jot that down.
My good friend, allow an old man some sentiment and join me for a reminiscence. Today is the 13th anniversary of the death of Cypher 12, one of the finest agents I've ever worked with.
All right. How many of you know about the theory of Cypher 12?
I've never heard of a Cypher 12. They don't mention our predecessors much.
Our history is fleeting, to say the least. Cypher 12 was one of the old guard from before the war. He cultivated allies on the fringes. By the time he received his Mandalorian brands, he'd also become verbally abusive in private, but he never cracked on the job. Always had a smile.
If he was so capable, what happened to him?
Eventually the odds caught up with him, and a Hapani royal assassin punctured his lungs. Inevitable, really. Are you aware how few ciphers survive past year 5?
The odds aren't good for any of us.
Quite so. I admire the line you walk between obedience and ingenuity. Unfortunately, your methods breed enemies. Be careful not to end up without recourse.
You chose to join my crew. If you didn't like my methods, you could have found a way out by now. What are you after?
I've made it through a very long career by choosing my partners wisely. I've outlasted them all, and I intend to keep doing so.
Cypher, I had the most delightful conversation with Master Vector. Did you... I'm getting a feed on my earpiece. One moment.
I apologize. That's the third time this week one of my security alarms has gone off.
I take it these alarms don't particularly worry you?
I monitor all my safe houses as a matter of course. I have a few dozen around the galaxy. A precaution, really. I haven't needed them in years. Usually when an alarm goes off, it means a child has come exploring, or a rat has slipped through the ventilation shafts.
You're not going to double-check?
Hardly worth the bother. I really should dismantle the safe houses altogether. But old habits die hard.
Besides, I hold out hope that I'll need to go to ground someday in one last exciting adventure.
Remind me not to underestimate you, Doctor. If we ever need a sanctuary...
You'll have whatever humble aid I can provide.
I suppose I'll share the theory now, because I don't remember how many other times it comes up. The theory is that he is Cypher 12, or perhaps more accurately, he was. Okay, looks like that's everything. Ah. It fits weirdly well, and to my knowledge it's never actually confirmed or denied. But he is a very Garrick character, which is funny when you think about it, but let's not get into that. I'm actually glad with how long we survived today. We're still cutting off stream a little early, but we got in a decent chunk of stuff. Tomorrow we are going to finish Agent, and that's going to be interesting. But if you've been paying attention to the document, you know that I'm about to update the HUD to show that we have 53 positives to story, which is really a lot. But if you've been paying attention to the document, you'll notice that there's a small paragraph of potential positives that I haven't even codified yet. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. I guess that's actually it. I think we could officially say, as of this moment, Agent is going to stomp Warrior. This is good. Tor as a whole is going to need these positives, because it has a lot of gameplay negatives. Have you scrolled to the very bottom of the document anytime recently to see how many gameplay negatives are under all, as in the whole game gets them? Anyways, I do hope you've been enjoying. I do apologize for my relative lack of energy. Thanks to the headache. Hopefully it'll be gone by tomorrow. Either way, I hope to see you tomorrow for the conclusion of the Agent storyline, and we're going to do a little bit of a wrap-up thing, too, because we're going to compare Sith to Empire, planets alongside each other. We'll get a lineup for the classes, and then we're going to get a vanilla silver number. So, see you around, everyone.